hang on. We're live. We're officially live here on the very first podcast on this channel. Wow. Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah, let's do it live. Just go for it.
Uh,
Ugh. So we got four people here. Want to introduce yourselves? I'm some Dad Ladrone, everyone's favorite silly, cynical asshole. We got everyone want to introduce themselves to the zero people watching right now.
I'll let everybody else go first.
I'm Wayward. You can find me on Twitter, WaywardDrawZ. I draw and talk about random nerd stuff.
You want to go first, Hatch, or?
Sure, why not? I'm Hatchethead. I'm a random guy on Twitter. I sometimes draw. I mostly go on weird tangents about shit you probably don't care about. Hit me up on that site.
Come on, Smug. Smug, you have.
Put the sandwich down.
Well, I already finished the sandwich. I'm just. All right. I'm Smugside 97. I just go by the handle Foreign Sleeping, but I'm just using this name at least for now. But yeah, just an artist on Twitter and stuff.
Dude, your art is amazing. You are borderline professional. No joke, not even lying.
Like I feel like I could do professional art. It's just that I'm really shit at like time management and stuff. Like it takes like God knows how long for me to finish commissions and shit.
I hear you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like I still do traditional, and I just think that it's a lot quicker to get things done traditional.
Yeah.
Oh, we got somebody watching, guys. We got a watcher. Gotta watch her.
Yeah, I think someone when you posted about asking time differences, someone made a good point. With traditional, you kind of just had to stick and move with what you went with. Digital, I'll kind of play around all day. I was like, did I get this hand just right? I could do it a bit better.
The thing about digital that kind of makes me want to do traditional is that there's a huge difference to me with pencil on paper than pen on glass tablet, and it does not feel right to me. That's why I mostly just sketch out on paper.
Yeah, like, what's up, Gorgonite? We got Gorgonite in the chat. What's up, Gorgonite?
Hi, Gorgon.
So, like, the thing about this is, like, for me anyway, it's all about control. I think like I have more control as a traditional artist. I think that's the big thing that I can like, that I feel like I can like I have full control over it when I'm doing traditional art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of depends if there's like a lag on your tablet or something like that. I could see that really affecting it. But other than that, I really do feel like I have just as much control over it on my over on my tablet.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I can work with the tablet. Like tablet's not a problem. I can do it. It just doesn't have like the same feel as just pencil and pen on paper. It just feels so much better. You know what I mean? It's just maybe because I've been doing it for so long, and it's just hard for me to adapt. Because I heard.
Yeah, fair enough. It does. It is a matter of one thing. It's always going to be preference. What's going to be work best for you, and then also there's going to be the whole thing. It does take practice. It's basically when I first started doing drawing on tablet only. It felt like I was relearning to draw again.
Yeah, like I've gotten better, a lot better than when I started out. But it's just mostly just I'm still like just sketching right now on my little tablet. Got a little Batman I draw sometimes. and stuff like that. But other than that, I stick to traditional. I try to implore more digital stuff. Anyway, we're here to talk about Avatar. So
Oh boy, the show I never watched, no matter how many times people tell me I need to watch it.
Yeah, I used to watch it as a kid, but I haven't really revisited it. I do have like a photographic memory of like the movie, the live action one though.
Oh no.
yeah, because the live action, the live action reboot, the live action adaptation of Avatar is legendary. It rivals Dragon Ball Evolution, like how bad it is.
I'm gonna hurt a bunch of Avatar fans by saying this, but my only experience with that franchise was the movie, and I only ever watched it because I was like 12 and I just wanted to stay up a little bit late, so I made the excuse think, Mom, the movie's almost over. Really was halfway done.
Oh man, like here's the thing about Avatar. Avatar to get Wayward, what's your take on Avatar? What do you know about Avatar?
I've seen it 3 times. It's really good.
Okay.
I think it's really up there. Like if you compare it to like fighting shonen stuff from anime, I think it's still way up there. I think the only thing I'd probably say was better is like Full Metal Alchemist or something like that.
Damn.
Like I don't even like I'm not even gonna like compare it to like animation because like I believe animation's a medium, not really so much as a a genre.
Well, yeah, that's why I said.
Yeah.
That's definitely why I said fighting. I compared it directly to fighting shonen rather than
Yeah.
anime directly.
Yeah, like the thing about Avatar is I don't think there's ever been like a show like it. Like period. Like I put this show up there with like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and stuff like that. Like it really is that good. Like it's on par with those two. If you told me like if you told me that it would be that this show is on par with like the world building and vastness of something like again like Tolkien's work or Star Wars stuff like that, that's actually a pretty solid synopsis of what the show on what like level the show was on. I still hold that belief. Like it's that good.
Well, goddamn.
I do think it definitely has like world building that could be compared to Lord of the Rings. Not nearly as quite because I think Lord of the Rings world
I think
really
impact
air tagged.
Or maybe a legacy thing.
Guess because I think it's just one whole story. So I think that's one thing that's different. Well, I guess that's because like Star Wars is more like it's a movie trilogy, and then it gets out the other expanding material. I don't think really Avatar really got the expanding material that the other two got. I mean, it did, but
like here's the thing. Avatar, the thing about world building that should always work is that it feels like people genuinely live in that world because it has its own lore, it has other characters doing other things. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily like, oh, we have to have other material in order to do this because
definitely not.
Because like there's like a bunch of like little side stories that go on behind the scenes and other stuff like that. So I think it's more along the lines of it was more self-contained than it was more self-contained than Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
Oh, definitely. I think it didn't really need a sequel at all. For one thing, I think it could have we could have just got the Aang beat the Fire Lord, and that was the end of the story.
It was the end of the story.
So how was Korra, folks?
I liked ideas in it. There are things I did like.
Here's Korra in a nutshell. You tried to turn Lord of the Rings into Divergence.
With steampunk.
Yeah,
I don't even know
with
if Divergent. Did Divergent have steampunk? I don't even know anything about it.
Divergent was another YA novel trash fire that focused on different factions and sport and all these other sports and basically
ripoff.
yeah,
I mean,
basically.
I know all of them. There are like a bunch of things like that where there's. But yeah, I just know it had like the love triangle thing because of course it did, and that's another reason why Korra wasn't that good. Didn't need all that. They could have cut Asami out completely if you ask me.
People have vehemently told me that 50% of it is nothing but love triangles, and they barely give a shit about the plot.
And then like
that is actually extremely accurate because Legend of Korra literally has two major plot points. Like there's three giant things. There's basically this in Korra. Basically, there's this whole big plot about trying to. There's basically a bunch of stuff that is just dropped. So how do I put this?
Some good ideas. Like I think the one thing that was cool was the whole subplot with well, not really as the main plot with what's his face Amon trying to he was saying that bending's there's like a bending supremacy thing going on, which was kind of accurate. Even in the old show, the benders were definitely the more focused people in the in the towns and stuff.
I think a lot. I think like the problem with this is like I like that idea, except there were like two problems. One the biggest problem is that Wayward, you like Hatchet, you probably don't care. Smug, you probably don't care either. You probably don't care. Basically, there was this needless plot twist thrown in that didn't make any sense and completely destroyed Amon as a villain. And when it happened, it was the dumbest thing I've ever had the displeasure of doing, because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And then they try to wave it away, and I'm like, no, you can't just throw in this needless twist and then change the story altogether. That is stupid. Basically, they had this really cool idea of Oman simply thinks that benders are like supremacists, and for some reason he has spirit bending that can take people's bending away, and that's what made him feared. But then it turns out that it's actually, again, Hatchet, you won't know this because you really didn't watch the old show, but there was this thing called blood bending.
Actually, I do know about that because I will remember so many cartoon reviewers talking about blood bending.
Yeah, like there's blood bending and then they said like that's how he was able to like get rid of their power.
But it was also somehow different from the time when Aang did it to the Fire Lord in the last season. It was needlessly convoluted. I do think it would have been just better if that was just explained as that was an advanced chi blocker thingamajig. I think that could have been a lot more. I think that just should have been fine. I honestly think they just took like the core plot of Korra and then made that into the first season, turned that into a movie and just focus on the actual main plot. It could have been all right.
Yeah, it could have been fine. And Gorg, and like, I'll get to that in a minute because I don't want this to be a Korra video. I don't want to get depressed.
Yeah, you're right.
But here's the thing. Like, the first half is basically Korra struggles. There's so much that happens in the first half of the show, but then it like focuses on the love triangle, and then there's the bending games tournament that I don't get because they don't explain the rules. I don't know how it works.
It's basically just like sumo wrestling, but with like the elements, and it's dumb. Yeah, it didn't affect the main plot. Was my main problem.
Yeah, Amon crashes it, and basically they never bring it up again. I don't think they ever bring it up again for the rest of the series. Despite taking up.
it had more to do with the subplots. It had more to do with other subplots. So it had like the C and D plot. It affected those, but didn't really affect the A plot.
And then like they throw those plot points out the window because like they never like because after like Tenzin like says, "Oh well, you'll never learn airbending." Turns out that going to the bending games is what makes her a better airbender somehow. Again, that doesn't make any sense either. And then they never talk about airbending or spirituality again until literally the last few episodes, and it comes out of nowhere.
She was at her lowest. I don't know. It was like I said, there was an idea there. They were just like, if it was a movie and they just like ended on that, and then it's just like that's it. That'd have been fine. I'll also say I know it's other conditions one too. I'll just wrap it up real quick. I think season 3 was all right in a very turn your brain off sort of way. Where it's
yeah,
just like
season 3 was the most competent. That's the one I consider the most competent season.
It was a decent action story plot. It wasn't like amazing, but it's like, okay, we got the villains. We know what their motives are. We want to stop them because they're terrorists. Great, that works.
I think like them trying to like pull the whole philosophy of, you know, he has a point that we should all be free. I'm like, no, he's just an anarchist. That's all he is.
Oh yeah, that's what he was.
Yeah, he was an anarchist. There was nothing complex about him.
But I liked him, like as like a dumb, like a, you know, as like a, you know, like 80s villain type of thing, where he's like a cooler version of like a like Cobra Commander or something. I was like, yeah, this works. This is actually
and like
I get his motives.
Like Korra actually acts like an avatar for a few times. I like the part where she was like, or the guy was like on the bridge and he didn't know how to deal with being an airbender, and she got up there and talked to him. I was like, okay, yeah, Korra is acting like an avatar a bit. I like this. Give me more of this. She was still an arrogant cunt in the end, but she.
I'll say I didn't mind that too as much as everybody else did. I'll say I didn't mind her being like it kind of felt like I was getting a Zuko, but the problem was the main problem was they went up and down with where her character development was
like
at.
She keeps like the main problem with Korra, and Gorgonite just said this in the chat too. He said, I was on board with Korra being an arrogant prodigy until the show did absolutely fucking nothing with it, nor gave the idea of any lasting consequences to her journey. That is the perfect way to describe Korra. Every time she goes through this, she gets all of her powers back, suffers no consequences for it, and then they just treat it like it's no big deal. And I'm like, why aren't you developing this character? Why are you going back?
Part of the reason it's because they at first they got ordered 13 episodes, and then Nickelodeon was like, "Oh, look at all these people being excited. Let's order another season." They're like, "Oh, great!" And then they're like, "Let's order 4 seasons," and then they put it all on.
Actually, what happened was this, like they saw like people. They thought like Nickelodeon thought this was going to be a hit like Avatar because season 1 did give, you know, decent ratings, but like turns out that was just a very vocal minority of the fan base. You know, the minority that
they listen to shippers. They listen to shippers.
They listen to shippers and shit like that. And people who have no idea what Avatar really works. So they said, "Hey, listen to them," and then they brought that back, and their ratings took a huge hit, like, and they never really recovered. And season 3, they tried again because, like, with each season, the animation did get worse. They had less money for animation. It took a huge hit. So, like, everything from season 2 onward, and they didn't even air season 4 on even Nicktoons. It was pretty much completely on the website. So the ratings were that bad. So they didn't even get banished to Nicktoons, and that's saying something. Because even My Life as a Teenage Robot got banished to Nicktoons.
Imagine you make what is considered to be like one of the best animated cartoons, modern cartoons, in like the longest time, and only to have your sequel be so fucking bad you have to go to Nickelodeon.com to finish the fucking story.
In
That is
480p.
Oh, 480p.
Yeah, they didn't even get 1040. They couldn't even get 720. They only got 480p. They couldn't even get the full package.
But yeah, just to put a little spin on that. Back when I remember back when the original Avatar was airing, the drill episode specifically was like the top rated, like top watched thing like of that entire night for every show.
God
Oh
damn.
yeah, it was like Avatar. Like again, like I'm so glad that Avatar is like back in people's minds.
I hate how
And
it's
back in
happened, though.
Ways.
Yeah, I hate how like the discourse around like because now that we got Avatar back, we got to talk about the Legend of Korra again, and that got people. Yeah,
It's only gonna get worse when when the live action show comes out, because then we're getting a bunch of people just like, oh, it's not my Avatar. I'm like, bitch, you knew this.
because here's the thing, like I think the creators are aware of how bad Korra is because they didn't want to continue the story. Korra messed up the world building so bad. They messed up the characters and the world building so bad that they'd rather just reboot the first story rather than continue the new one. They're pulling a Lucasfilm basically. They are really afraid of touching anything. It's anything to do with the sequel stuff because they know they messed up. So they're going back and reminding people of what they actually liked about it. And I think that's like because Korra really messed everything up, like everything.
Mostly the spirit world. I think that's the biggest thing. They really changed completely how it worked, and that's like
the beginnings was a train wreck. Oh my god, the beginnings.
I liked it at the time a lot. I'll say that. I'll straight up admit that I actually liked it a lot at the time, and then I went, it's mostly when they got to season 4, and like they're like, "Hey, Spirit World people, we got y'all freed from the Spirit World. Why don't you guys help?" And they're like, "Nah," and they didn't help out in the final battle. I'm like, "Oh, then what was the point of even making the Spirit World have like constant access?"
Isn't it like in season 3 where like they fuck up everything and then the spirits go back anyway?
It changed it. It's like did like, nothing.
It did nothing but like cause the complete destruction of Republic City, and they had to literally drag Korra back and beg her to fix it, and she's still like, "Nah, it's cool. Let's keep it open." I'm like, "Why?" It's like, "Nah, let's just keep it open." Why though? Nah, let's just keep it open. I'm like, "Why?" There's no reason to keep it open. And literally seasons 3 and 4 are all your fault because you didn't want to close it for some stupid reason.
See, this is why I feel sorry for Avatar fans, because everything outside of the original series fucking blows. The video games suck, the movie sucks, Korra sucks, and anything that's gonna happen out of that Netflix show is gonna fucking blow.
Yeah.
You want to know why? You want to know why?
Why?
Because the creators of Avatar are art directors. They pretty much just came up with the aesthetic of the original. Aaron Ehasz is the actual like writer of almost everything in the original show.
He wrote the beginnings.
So what happened to
Aaron Ehasz didn't write the beginnings.
Okay, which one is he? I'm gonna look that up. I actually don't know.
The guy who wrote the Ember Island Players wrote.
Okay.
He wrote that. So like the guy who's well known for making the parody of Avatar rewrote the lore.
Oof.
Think about that.
That's fucking.
I don't know. Let's go back. Let's go and talk about the Last Airbender. Let's stop shitting on Korra.
Yeah. Let's start. It's too easy.
Yeah, it's.
It's too easy.
Did you watch this while it aired? When it was airing?
I watched it when it was airing as a kid because I really liked it when I was a kid. When I was like 7 years old is when it started airing. I am a Zoomer. I am Generation Z.
That's
I
That's basically where I was going with that. I was kind of curious because I know this happened with me with Gargoyles, where I was like, when I went back, I was just like, oh, this show is cool. It has a big scary gargoyle guy, and then like I went back and watched it as a teen. I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is a deeply rich story.
Yeah, like I really love gargoyles.
But yeah,
I did the same thing. Oh, sorry. I did the same thing. Whereas it started off with me really liking the original show, and then like when Korra came out, I remember they re-released Avatar to get people hype for it, and I was like 12 when that happened. So I rewatched it with a more mature mindset, and I'm like, oh, this show's actually really fucking dope. I really love. It really did age well. And I watch it. I binge watch it every few months or so because it's just so good.
Yeah, it's about where I got. It's one of those shows I've rewatched a lot. I can't think of too many things I've that are actually like story based that I've rewatched as many times as that one. There's only like Outlaw Star and Gurren Lagann that I've like gone that amount.
I didn't like Gurren Lagann, honestly. I don't hate it. I just think it's a little. I don't know. I don't like the idea of like, he just constant like the message of you can get through anything through sheer force of will alone. I'm thinking like, it just didn't sit well with me. I don't hate it. I'm just not a fan.
Fair enough.
It looks better than Evangelion, I'll tell you that. Because when I see shit like Evangelion, I just fucking eye roll at pretentiousness.
I like it a lot. I'm just gonna say this real quick in defense of Evangelion. It's kind of like I didn't like the movie sequel or whatever to it that like finished it just because it was like he kind of got that reputation by that point where he was like, this is the super smart thinky guy show, and then the movie is all just very much that. The original show that I do like a lot. Anyways, Avatar.
I just didn't like the characters in Evangelion. Except,
fair enough. I'm not gonna twist anybody's arm.
Yeah, but the only like mecha anime I really liked was Eureka 7. I love Eureka 7.
See,
Never
like
heard of it.
Never heard of it?
Nope.
I saw a few episodes of it. I don't think I can really have like a full opinion on it, but I really want to get into it.
It needs to hurry the fuck up. Is my thing.
Yeah, like it's
slow as hell. It needed half the episodes.
Yeah, like, but that's kind of like what makes it work, dude. It's a romance, but it's a really good romance anime too. But it's also like,
you didn't kiss her until the end.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, they're not really like a traditional couple. Like, that's the whole point. Like, they're kind of like, and I like that. It's really slow beat, like a slow burn, and once it picks up, and like Renton's development is like really awesome. He's everything Shinji should have been. Really.
I don't think they're the same character though, but yeah. In any case, I did like him. I just think the show should have hurried up.
I could see that. It is a slow burn. Don't watch it unless you got like a lot of time, because it is a really slow burn. I'm not gonna lie.
If I can say the one mecha anime that I probably do want to watch the most is Big O. That gives me huge Verse 10 vibes.
It's if you like that kind of stuff, you'll like that.
It's basically Batman with a mech. Even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes, it's still really good.
It looks absolutely amazing, and I like how he has to do like a ton of physical movement into the mech to kind of like show it's really making him get like a good battle exercise kind of ordeal. Well,
did Smug, you wanted to say something?
Oh, what? Oh, no, no, I was just kind of somewhere else, but yeah, you guys were talking about Gurren Lagann. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Nah, dude.
Oh, well, I kind of
we
briefly mentioned it, and then
yeah.
kind of went on a tangent here and got to Big Ho somehow.
Oh, all right. Well, I've seen a bit of the Big O, but not the only one, but I know that the one or some like mecha anime that I watched from beginning to end are Evangelion and Gurren Lagann. Just on my mind right now.
I think that studio did a lot of good. Like then also Gunbuster is really good from them.
Yeah, like cause like both are like really influential, whether you like them or not. They're really influential.
Yeah, I will say that Neon Genesis Evangelion did start a lot of bad trends too. Like everybody was trying to do like a Asuka girl that was just like, and they didn't really get the point that Asuka, like I didn't quite I still don't get people who are just like, yeah, I love her, she's so amazing. I'm like, she was a piece of shit, and everybody called her a piece of shit because she was a piece of shit.
Like and Ray was like super emotionless, and like they even pointed out, yeah, she's not really meant to. It's not really meant to be cute. It's meant to show that she's like super isolated and cut off from the world. She has literally very little understanding of like human empathy. That's not something that's supposed to be cute.
No, it's not. I mean, this is why Masato is the only good choice.
Like Masato is like I said like I hated almost every character in the show. I will say Masato is the only character who I like somewhat.
Most of these ladies, they sound like tsundere bait.
That's what Asuka was, but like I said, the point with Asuka though, she was supposed to be terrible. Like they would, like all the characters would be like, "Shut up, bitch."
I actually heard that. I heard that Masato is actually from Twitter just like recently that Masato is actually kind of a pedophile.
Yeah, she kind of came on to him. Like,
she did at the end. She was like, "Yeah, kill these motherfuckers at the end." And I will. And
she's basically just trying to like goad him into like doing the things that everybody needs to do to survive by being like, I'll let you hit this, but then she's just gonna die anyways. She knew that she was dying.
Fight for the Gucci, my simp.
Yes, that's basically it.
It's like she basically kissed him and said, "I'll show you the grown-up stuff if you make it back." And I'm like, yeah, that's that.
But she was dying. She was like dying from a gunshot as that was happening. So that wasn't going to happen.
And not to mention, like she like even the first episode was like she had a picture. She highlighted certain aspects of the picture so she was definitely baiting him from the get-go, and not to mention she herself was psychologically fucked up in the head.
Oh yeah, she didn't talk for like 6 years.
Yeah, Masato is definitely like the better. I'm defending a pedo here. Oh god. But like she's probably the best character in the show because like I somewhat sympathize with her and empathize with her, and she's the only one who genuinely seems to care about other people.
Maybe she cares about some people too much.
I mean, like,
okay, Shinji did care. Well,
that's
why he ended up doing it. That's why he did it.
Shinji should have just kept jacking off onto Asuka and gotten the fucking robot. He should have just kept doing.
That's why I say. That's why I'll say. Like, that's why I said I will say I hate the movie. I don't really like the movie that much. It's not that good.
He only made the movie because people kept complaining about the ending.
Oh yeah, I will say the ending does suck, but I do like that ending more than the movies. That's actually a very unpopular opinion.
He's like no. I think that's like a very popular opinion. People said the ending sucked. Oh my god, the ending sucked. I don't like the ambiguity and all that stuff. I'm like, and he's like, okay, fine. Here's a better ending. Everything is fucked. Everyone is fucked. Fuck it. Fuck you. Fuck everything. Everything is fucked now. How's that ending, huh?
Backtune says he's waiting to join in the chat. So
And we can move back on to Avatar after that. We've been going on to. I don't know how we got back to Evangelion again.
Oh, sorry. There he is.
Hey
I mean,
guys,
He's here.
yeah,
can you hear me?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Did you have
Sorry,
anything
mate.
you want to? Yeah. Did you want to add anything to
Oh,
that?
dude.
Oh well, all I have to say so far is I overhearing is like I like I agree with Slim with Eureka 7. That's the anime I like. That is indeed the fact a slow burn
Yeah.
compared to like Gurren Lagann, which is fast paced, on beat. Everything is happening quick. Don't miss a second. If you blink, it's over, and I'm like, oh boy. I still like it, but
I mean,
comes down to
yeah,
taste.
it's. I don't hate it. Like I said, I don't hate the show. It's just not my thing. I also didn't like how they like killed got rid of Kanji and stuff like that.
That was like
Oh,
the
yeah.
point
And I'm
though. Like
like-
Simone was the main character, and I mean that's a big trope in mecha, where it's whoever the
That one
senpai.
person has to die. Yeah.
Oh, senpai has to die. That's the
Yeah,
trope.
Senpai,
I didn't know that was a trope to like that. So whatever. But anyway, Avatar. Where were we on that?
What is James Cameron thinking when he made that movie?
Like James Cameron gave up when he made Avatar.
Not
I mean, like-
he was way more interested in cool toys. Okay.
I refuse to think he gave up because apparently he's working on like 4 movies all at once and for the same fucking franchise.
only one had to get his attention.
Oh,
That
back
just
to
makes me
Sorry.
laugh.
sorry.
That just makes
sorry.
me laugh.
Hey, back tunes.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Like I didn't like. Apparently, like I'm looking at my screen thing, and it didn't show up next to you. It showed up underneath us. So I didn't see your like thing for a while. My bad, dude.
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. That it took me a while to get it working too, because I've been having electric problems in the house as of late. So that's
Yeah, I get that.
why
I
I'm
get
late.
that,
I
bro.
have to fix the circuit breaker in my home. Almost shocked myself, but
Jesus
hey,
Christ.
everything's good now.
Yeah, dude.
Everything's
No
okay.
problem.
Hey, at least you don't stick a screwdriver into a socket like I did.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid, dude.
Look, we were painting a room. I took a screwdriver and I was chipping some off the wall.
As a junior electrician, I can tell you, I'd never do that again. So you learned the hard way.
But like yeah. So
You guys remember
Like,
how in
I
the you guys? I don't know if you remember this. Back in the old days, they used to actually put like in their website that like Avatar, like what the Avatar was the spirit of the world. Like it was actually the Avatar of Earth.
like
makes sense.
here's how I think like canonically they explained everything. Canonically at first, here's how the Avatar worked. The Avatar was the bridge. It was he was literally the bridge between the spirit world and the physical world. Spirits can come and go to Earth as they please, but the Avatar was like literally the bridge who could journey to and from the spirit world. Basically like as his birthright, he could do so, and
Oh, yeah.
also he was the embodiment of the spirit world, which was like the spirit of the earth itself.
Yeah, like I said, the actual the site the Avatar like official site used to actually say he was the living embodiment of their spirits, as opposed to some kind of Rava thing, whatever it was. The new one.
Yeah, they tried to make it like light versus dark, which just didn't work at all.
The most basic surface level.
I
thing
will
to do.
say they should have done something cool with the like they're gonna introduce the dark Avatar. I mean, it's as dumb as it is. They could have done something fun with it. they didn't.
That was the most fan fiction shit I've.
But you could at least done something fun fan fiction. You could have done fun fan fiction, like
Yeah,
where it's
but
like
then
you have this
it went too far when it was like season
chess
finale.
stuff.
Two giant beings of light versus dark. You remember Avatar? This happened. I was like, whoa, okay, let's take it easy
And
with
then-
Godzilla
and-
fights over here.
And then like they don't. And the worst part about all of this is, in my opinion,
What?
is that like the solution to the problem, like how the spirit gate open and stuff like that. Apparently, like remember how I forget her name, but she's like Aang's granddaughter. She
You know
does
who?
some weird bending shit, and then it just stops, and then it fixes everything, and then like the spirit portal opens, and
Yeah.
then that's how things happen, and we don't get any explanation from it. But
Didn't she
now
also,
she's like a
save Korra too? Like she fused with her giant Korra kaiju.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
and
what
she'd
happened
be
there,
like-
to be honest. I just remember that she turned into like she basically did the Naruto thing where she got the
Yeah.
Kyuubi and stuff.
Yeah,
Naruto
and
thing.
then like for some reason that somehow made his granddaughter a master airbender somehow, or
I don't think she got her
I don't-
mastery from that. She was actually
Yeah.
like she was already. I don't think that was how she
She
got
was
it.
the only one of the siblings who actually was competent and good. And
I liked her. I liked her a lot
Yeah,
actually.
like,
I think
she
she's
was
one of the
good.
yeah,
characters.
I think she was like the only reason I can't say that I like her is because I don't remember her that much.
Yeah, but that's the
I
show's
don't
fault,
remember
because-
much about her.
Okay, one of
Well-
the better episodes in season 4 was that episode where like her and the siblings were off doing things, and it actually felt like old Avatar. That one
Yeah,
was good.
that's the
like,
thing.
I kinda
Those
wish
kids
they could have just like took over the main character duties. I'm like, oh, better show, great.
Here's the thing. The only character I legitimately like really liked and actually gave a damn about was Tenzin. I
I like
legitimately liked Tenzin.
I like Tenzin and Bolin,
I like
Those are my
Bolin and then
two.
Vathek. Vathek's the best character actually, though.
even though Bolin takes a big back seat as the show goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
hate
well,
it.
not best Mako.
I-
Mako started out my favorites.
Ew,
I hated season 3 because they made Bolin an airbender out of nowhere. I thought that was stupid.
I know Aang is in Korra for like a bit, like he's a sensei. How's he doing?
Aang and Korra.
Yeah.
He
Oh
dead.
no, you're talking about Tenzin.
He doesn't exist anymore. What are you talking about?
I
He's-
okay. I
He dead.
I remember
gone.
there was this old man with the blue
Alright.
arrow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Oh,
it
that was
was
flashbacks. And yeah,
Oh.
either
He did have a
Tenzin
flashback.
talking about or flashback Aang who's dead.
Oh,
who because Korra's arrogance and stupidity no
Yeah.
longer exists alongside every other avatar to ever walk the earth ever.
Now that makes her
Meaning
the
that the
first.
next avatar is basically
just
fucking
with
screwed.
Korra. Just get stuck
He's
with
down the
Korra.
first now.
And all you have is Korra. That's it. You're screwed, kid. You're screwed.
Yeah, she can't give you good advice.
Nope.
Not like Aang could talk to those other cool masters.
so
I don't
Not
know.
to
The guy could be like,
mention,
"Hey, how'd you do that chest beam thing? Can I do the chest beam thing? Can I turn into a giant Megazord and chest beam?"
I mean, and like the the best part about it is the worst part about it is that they turned like again like they messed up their world so badly that you literally couldn't continue the
I don't know.
Avatar universe.
They could BS their way back into having like all the avatars back in the Avatar state.
No,
They
my
couldn't,
only- my
no,
main
because
thing-
the way she lost it was stupid.
No, they could just BS that back. But my main thing is
Lava
they changed the way. I think the worst thing is just how they changed the spirit world. I think that's really the worst
yeah,
thing.
like
It was it
they-
worked completely different. Like it was on top of our world back in the
Yeah,
old one.
and they kind of did it in a weird way. It was like, oh, it's an analogy for immigrants in a way. I was like,
It didn't really
I
work
think
though
that-
because they didn't even care to be there. They did not care.
yeah,
yeah,
They
and
had a
not to
whole
mention like
Civil War.
the original Avatar basically had it like spirits were rare, but they weren't
everywhere.
like impossible. Like they weren't like you could see a spirit in the original Avatar and be like, oh, cool, there's a spirit. It wasn't like spirits shouldn't be in the world. It's
Like
that
I-
if you see one, that
You
would be rare.
Yeah, and not all spirits are friendly, so like that face killing
The spirits were like indifferent to humans unless they like
Yeah,
mess with the natural order of the world. If you left the spirits alone, they'd leave you alone. And they rarely like interacted with mortals. It was basically a completely different system. Now
That's what I'm
Korra's saying there's a
It's the worst change. They completely changed how it worked.
yeah. Actually, they're aliens now. They're more like aliens. Like
They
really
are
from a
they are
different whole
aliens now.
universe.
Yes. Well,
It's
since
like,
they used to be one dimension at one point, but
yeah,
then they got split into two. They segregated at one point.
segregation.
and then
That's
like and then again, like they said, like there's no reason to keep the spirit. That's what I don't get. Why keep the fucking spirit portal open?
Because
We're back to
Korra wants
that.
to fight for
Why?
migrant
There's
rights.
no. There's
Like-
literally no good reason.
They didn't
Yeah,
set up anything. Like, I thought they were
multidimensional
like I thought that was what the season 3 was going to be about. Like they're gonna actually like be like there's gonna be some plot point about that. It really didn't though.
Oh,
Besides like
and don't
those
forget,
roots coming back and
she
forth.
wanted to take vacation too. She was like, I'm gonna take a nice vacation. I gotta leave it open so I could come back. So
I mean, I'm just like,
Look,
you're
honeymoon.
like, there's even a book. There's even a book. Go like you guys watch E semicolon R. He does a review on it.
Yeah, I've seen
oh,
that.
I've seen
Yeah,
that
like,
legendary review.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah,
of the,
yeah. He's like they print like the entire book was literally just going out of their way to say, why aren't you doing anything about this? People literally
Yeah.
lost their homes and they
Oh,
are
and-
homeless.
And the villain from the book arose because of the spirit world. He's like something happened to him, and I think you remember the review like he fused with a spirit, and now he's evil.
Yeah, no.
And like
N-
Close
not
the
to,
damn
not to
portal.
mention not to mention like they didn't she like use the spirit energy to like power her robots in season 4.
Yes, that was the main plot.
Oh,
That's like the main way the spirit world actually. It was the Airbenders coming back, which I didn't think that was stupid. That was the worst thing in season 3.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that kind of
because it's like-
just
so they just were gone because there was no connection to the real world.
That made no
That's
sense. Yeah,
crazy.
it doesn't
that
like
that
why-
was that was bullshit, and it kind of defeats the purpose, and that like defeated like got rid of a lot of narrative tension, because
It does.
like Tenzin and his family was like, okay, we gotta like whenever you see like Tenzin and his family in danger, you're reminded that Tenzin has to hold all of his culture and his family and his people on his back, because like if he doesn't, it's over. The airbending legacy is gone. I mean, yeah, they still have like the air nomads, like the air nomads, like officially, right? Who aren't benders, but still like carry on the traditions and stuff like that.
they're just monks pretty much.
Yeah, they're just monks basically. They basically just practice airbending
Philosophy, like the
ideology.
philosophy,
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty clever. Actually,
I like that. There's things I liked in Korra. Like there's definitely plenty
like-
of things. You could have
like
put like a
one-
movie or two together and it'd been fine.
I mean, Korra's
Yeah,
main
like-
problem just kind of stems from the characters, and then the story does get worse after season 1, like especially when Korra loses her bending to blood bending, which I don't know how that works, and Aang just giving it back like LMAO, bro, just all you had to do was ask, and just gave it back to her.
I kind of liked how they also had MMA fighting. I'll say too. Like they had the MMA style like where because like that was already kind of a thing with the bending where there's like different fighting styles within that type of bending.
And it makes sense that over time people will eventually develop new styles, but then
Yeah.
again, it's like Korra doesn't do much with that. Mako
No, it
and
doesn't.
Bolin do, but they barely even win any fights. The Korra gang take a lot of L's. So when you're
They
seeing a
do.
lot of these battles, it's like kind of pointless when you got all these new techniques and new avatar ways to fight, but they're always losing to people who
Well,
are
one thing
most likely fighting with old school level like fighting techniques.
Yeah. I will say that was one thing cool about the the old show was they all had their own set style. Like I think wasn't Firebending Shaolin. I know Toph had her own. She had a completely different, fighting.
Basically, it's like this. Waterbending was like Tai Chi. Airbending was like, I'm not sure. I think airbending was
I forget
like-
what that one is.
If I could
think that was
compare
like
it to any
like
fight
at a,
style, I'll say Wing Chun. You ever
I
Yeah.
don't think it. No, it actually is like they had like set ones. Because I know specifically Toph's was Southern Mantis.
earthbending was Shaolin. Earthbending was definitely Shaolin Kung Fu. And waterbending was Tai Chi.
Oh yeah, I definitely know that one,
Firebending- Firebending was something. I think it was like I think firebending was wushu. But like that's kind of like a cool thing that they like Korra fights like MMA fighters, and that really, and not to mention like Korra just kind of made bending superpowers.
yeah, she
Kind of
did.
it was kind of like it was kind of like the Force in the sequel trilogy. The rules were kind of just thrown out the
Everywhere.
window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
energy bending. Come on, now that was the most ridiculous thing.
I don't know. I'll
Like,
say that they kind of
here's-
like. I kind of liked how they
Ooh.
kind of expanded on that to where they made the combustion thing, where that they kind of defined what that was. But then, like I said, there's also
But like here's the thing. Like in the original Avatar, I'm gonna kind of defend like the energy bending thing because I don't think it's as bad as people say it is.
no, I think
it's
the
not
blood.
bad.
The blood.
My
the blood
thing is
bending
just
the blood.
they
bending
took it
was
too
worse.
far when she turned into giant energy kaiju Korra. That
Yeah,
part
that
Oh,
was
yeah,
just
sure.
stupid.
yeah, that's when
Um,
it's like, ooh, energy bending doesn't sound smart anymore or at all.
Yeah, like
And
one
you
of
can
the
use it.
like here's the thing. You have I think like energy bending was more like the complete understanding of basically universal understanding of nature itself. And like this is something that everyone this is basically like saying this is the light, this is like where bending stems from originally. It stems from the spirit, and one must have an unfaltered spirit in order to master it. So even though Aang did I still consider it a Deus Ex Machina because Avatar isn't perfect. It was a Deus Ex Machina, but it was explained. It did make sense. And it didn't break any previously established rules of Avatar.
It had at
Yeah.
least
So I will
one
give it
setup enough to let it be okay with the rest of the story in the finale. So it didn't really just plop on your shoulder
Yeah.
like giant kaiju light battles.
Yeah. I mean, the ending of Avatar was always kind of the weird part, but my main thing I didn't like about the like I'm not gonna say like I hated the ending. Of course, I like the ending. It's just
Yeah.
that the one thing that like weirded me out about it was he never really had like when he was having that like big discussion about why he shouldn't kill. How come he never talked about him getting possessed by the fish and killing people?
Because like he wasn't like, to be fair, he wasn't in control.
I mean, I know he can
That
kill
was-
the
that
fish.
was-
but like
I just- it just
Zuko
weirded me-
wouldn't know
it-
that. If
I
was
just
Zuko,
think
I would
it should have been addressed at some point. Like, hey, remember the time you allowed the fish to possess you and you killed people? It happened.
But I wouldn't
like,
see any other character
didn't-
bring that up. I can only see
didn't have-
Zuko saying that.
He didn't even let them take control. He was like, I'm really desperate. Use my body any way you want,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
do
just think it should have
this.
I think it just should have been brought up a little bit. Like, how does he feel
Wait,
about
was
that?
Zuko even there when that happened? Like,
Zuko was definitely there.
Yeah, he watched everybody get their ass kicked.
yeah, but was that after Korra? No. I'm thinking different. Katara took Aang after that. and Katara had to fight Zuko to get her back, which was a silly
Yeah,
battle. Zuko.
that-
I mean,
that
he was
was-
covered in snow.
No, that
Silly
was
Zuko.
that was before. That was before. She
Okay, that
fought
was before
Zuko
this?
first,
Okay.
and then he escaped Zuko because remember Zuko couldn't use his firebending because it was so cold, and then he escaped Zuko, and then he got back, and that's when he fused with the fish thing.
Oh man, speaking of, that was a cool part with because Katara could not hold her on at the beginning, like she was not anywhere near Zuko's equal at
Level.
all, and by that point she was. It was awesome.
Well, I mean that, and it was an
She worked
entire
for it.
village covered in snow, so he stood no chance.
Oh yeah, I mean there was
Sorry.
that. Well, he started, and then he won as soon as it went daylight.
He was like,
That-
"Come
that's
on,
when they
fight
have-
me still," and then she just like poof poof, and he knocked him out.
Yeah, yeah. Like one of the things, like I personally, I think, like I said, Avatars are perfect. I thought like the let's call it what it is, the misogyny episode was like everyone else's least favorite too.
It's not
Because,
my
like-
least favorite. I'll tell you, my least favorite one's the one where they gotta like, there's like the goalkeeper thing, and they gotta like, there's like the two sides, and they gotta get them across the thing.
Yeah, I
And
know.
they-
I know the Great Divide is hated. It's a joke. Yeah, everybody doesn't
That one
like the Great Divide.
sucks. That one sucks.
Everybody says it's the worst. I don't hate the Great Divide, and I don't hate the episode where like she meets the master. I just think like it's just not a well handled episode because it I get the whole girl power message, and I'm not trying to sound like a neckbeard or a fedora tipper, but like I was like, you could have done this better. You know you could have
I
done
think
this better.
it was fine. It was a
I think
season
what
one
saved
episode.
it. I
It
think
was
what
a
saved it
season one
was the
episode.
whole story with the necklace. It gave the guy some kind of place where he's coming from.
No. I'm like there was no reason to make him a super misogynist.
It was
like
like
that.
it's like
There was-
but it was like medieval China. Come on, man. It's not
I mean,
that.
I
It's not
get
a stretch.
That is true. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I understand that,
Yeah,
but like,
like-
he was so but like but here's the thing. He got over it so quickly. So I'm like, so what was the point of making that like a central part of his character if he's going to get over it so quickly? Real people don't just get over that shit that quickly. I'm
I don't
sorry.
know. It's
You
a-
coulda-
I don't
you
know.
coulda-
It's fine to me.
You could have done like basically like this. You could have been way more subtle with it. You could have throughout the episode, she clearly tries and pushes forward and shows that she can keep up and does all this stuff, and he's basically deliberately trying to push her away like through his actions. But no, it's just like, oh, you're a girl. You should be healing. You shouldn't be learning how to waterbend. I'm like, you could have
Oh, wait,
been
you're talking about the
smarter
master.
with this.
The master.
Yeah, the master.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think about the Sokka one where where he that one was a little bit much. But there was also like the whole thing that got broken down at the end where he was like where it was this, it did
Wife or something,
kind of
right? It
happen
was
too
like
easily, but it
everybody-
was like but the whole thing about him being hurt over the girl leaving him and stuff that ended up being his grandmother and stuff. It did just kind of it did have like a Martha moment where he's like, your mom's name's Martha. I guess we're friends now.
Yeah, he was just pretty. Actually, damn, I think about it, he was just salty. He's a salty old man because
was.
he was
He was
left
an
on
incel.
scene.
He was in
And
his
then-
incel.
I'm
And
not-
then
I'm
when
not
the
saying-
Batman versus Superman should be doused in kerosene.
Your grandmother
Yeah,
never
like-
returned her love. I hate you now.
Yeah, I mean, like, are you saying he's an incel? Is he like
Yes,
an incel? 'Cause
yes.
he didn't take it.
Ancient
I mean, that's what
Chinese
happened. Like he was legit butthurt over a girl leaving him all those years ago.
No,
Don't
I
carry
agree.
that
I watched
weight
that one
going,
recently.
"Oh,
You're
you
right.
know
I actually
what?
do agree with you there.
You
It's,
know
that
what?
one
I'm not
was a
gonna
little much.
train no woman because my heart was broken by one single girl 45 years ago.
Oh
Move on
wait,
with
the
your life,
necklace?
bro.
Oh no.
He saw the
Never
necklace. He was
mind.
like,
Like,
"How do you get
how
that
do you
necklace?"
get? How'd you get
Yeah,
that
I think it would have been
necklace?
better if it was like it. Yeah, it would have been better if she was constantly proving herself the episode, and she's like, and he's like, okay, I see you though.
Like
But
I
instead
think
of
again, I'm not saying you couldn't make him a misogynist. I'm just stating you could
Yeah.
have been smarter. You could have been smarter with it.
Yeah, it could have
You
been
know
not
the
the
funny thing
incel. It
about
could
that
not have been
episode?
because he was an incel. I think that's actually completely valid.
You know what's the funniest thing about the episode though? While Korra, like let's see, I keep saying Korra, but while Katara was dealing with misogyny, this man Sokka was really out here like putting the moves on the ladies, and I was like, damn, it's such a weird back and forth. It's like, bruh.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, he actually got he got canonically laid in an episode. It happens.
Yeah, Sokka is the pussy bender, man. He's like like let's count it down. He had the moon spirit. He had the moon spirit. He ended up with Suki,
who he canonically fucked.
Yeah, he canonically they fucked. Toph had a crush on him.
That never got addressed. That's something that made me mad. That kind of annoyed me. It never got addressed.
Never brought it back up.
Yeah, I want to see her deal with that.
Yeah, like Toph, like I said, like me and Wayward even talked about this. Toph is probably like the least developed character in the entire show, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just stating like Toph
she's not. But somehow she still stayed one of my favorites though.
She's still likable. Cool. I still like Toph a lot.
I think she was really cool. Like
she had that raw, like, you know, like if you like see Thundercats, you're like, okay, Panther is cool because he fucks shit up.
And that's all you really need for a character sometimes. Just a
I do think she should have like
a cat.
That is not trying to go back to Gurren Lagann here, but like when Simone found out that Kamina and Yoko were a thing, he had like a whole breakdown moment. I think Tosh should have something like that.
That's actually like a point I didn't like Gurren Lagann because like he tried to like
an older woman.
He's like they were both around the same age. It's just that like they were all around the same age. She just looked a lot younger for some reason. But anyway, like when he was like, oh, like this would seem like something you would discuss.
Yeah, it does. Like she literally like I remember she kissed Suki because she thought that was Sokka, and then she's like, okay, I'm gonna die from embarrassment now. She didn't really talk about it though.
Yeah, and then there was like a whole subplot with her parents that was dropped.
That did get dropped.
Like it was a whole subplot with their parents, desperate to bring her home, and she had to deal with that. And then like it's just dropped. It's never brought up again.
I'm the best better. You gotta deal with it. Bye bye.
Don't ever compare her to Korra ever. You son of a bitch.
Okay, but let's be real though.
They kind of say that to that other guy when she first got kidnapped. She was like, she broke out. She was like, "I'm the best defender."
But Toph
Korra stole that from Toph.
Toph earned it, and it makes sense.
If she said that to her parents, she'd be like, "Okay, fine. I see you though. Yeah, that makes sense."
Yep. Korra stole that line.
Yeah, like Korra literally broke like half of its rules in the first 5 minutes. How do you do that? You broke half.
They didn't even do that. They could have just cut. They really could have just cut to her being 16 and be like, "Hey, you matched these 3 elements, but not this other one. What's up with that?" That would have been just fine.
Because here's the thing, they wanted her to be like a young woman, right? But they also realized that that's when not even that, it's like that's when every avatar usually begins their training and going around the world and understanding the 4 elements and stuff like that. Here's the thing though, Aang himself, for whatever reason, despite knowing firsthand how bad of an idea it is to tell somebody that they're the avatar too early, because he himself knows what happened personally, despite knowing that how instrumental it is to the avatar going around the world and understanding these 4 elements and understanding the nation so they can bring them together, the first thing Aang tells the White Lotus to do, find the Avatar as soon as possible and train them in an isolated compound.
Oh my god, I never thought about this. You're right.
That is so fucking stupid. That is why would Aang of all people
It would make
say
sense
do
for the White
that?
Lotus decide that themselves because they're like,
Mischaracterizations, baby.
it would have made sense if the White Lotus thought that was a good idea because they're like, hey, last time this
Yeah.
this Fire Nation thing happened, we weren't ready. This time we're gonna be ready, and that'd be
You
like, I'm
think-
taking that.
you would think they would have had like. You ever remember how Samurai Jack was trained? He really went.
Yeah, like that was
place to place.
that was classic.
I like the
You
fact.
think
Okay, I will say I
that-
like the fact that she didn't. She was sheltered. I it made her. That was like one of the things that made her humble, in a lot of ways. Was the fact that she didn't know nothing.
What? Wait, she was
Emphasis on
humble?
humble.
No,
I
it
wouldn't
was
say
humble.
humble.
No. Okay, humble's the wrong word. But I'm saying it's the one thing that made her, human. Otherwise, if she was like this worldly, if she was already this worldly person when she came to the city, it would have made her just like this perfect goddess.
Oh, and you know what? That
No,
also would have took away from showing off how the new city is all. It would have took away from that setting, which the show really loved. They love their little theme.
Oh yeah, they love the steampunk.
It's
Um,
actually that's more of a
soccer
diesel era,
Yeah,
diesel
there we go.
prohibition era.
Yeah.
That's Steam. There was barely any
Aesthetic.
Steam in this one.
Soccer Wars did the setting better. I'll just say
Yeah,
that
it's more of a diesel punk setting.
Yeah.
Like Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist. But like the thing I don't like is like this is coming from like these are direct orders from Aang apparently.
No, yeah,
So
I
I'm
agree with you
thinking
there.
that's stupid. And then like then you have this other thing with Aang that he did. Apparently
Bad.
Aang was super neglectful of his other 2 kids
Yep.
and didn't teach them anything about airbending or air no bad culture, even though
They
he
showed
taught
no
a
affinity for
bunch even though he taught a bunch of fucking strangers this, he purposefully
No,
did
that
not
always made sense.
teach anything to his
And
kids.
you know what's the weird part too? That's also insinuating that Katara was okay with this behavior.
Right?
Yeah, like
So
what the fuck? Like
I'm
what?
pretty sure she saw him being neglectful to one of their
They
kids.
were looking for a drama.
Popped out of her. She's like, homeboy, listen, sweetheart, you can't be rude to your goddamn kids.
I mean,
Yeah, I just
like
don't buy that. Like, it's they just needed some kind of drama to happen between the kids of Aang for
And it didn't even go anywhere except Bolin. When Bolin does become an airbender, he feels like he's guilty of something or whatever for like not being a proper airbender or some shit like that. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, very weird.
I don't. That's weird because like you can't help it. You couldn't help it because like you weren't
Came out
an
of nowhere.
airbender.
I can understand him feeling because like that goes back to the season 1 of Korra's themes where it was like all about the benders
Not living
versus
up to legacy.
Yeah, well, not being benders. It makes people
Yeah.
feel powerless. Like that goes back to that. So I think that made sense.
I
But
just-
it doesn't
I
make
just
sense.
wish
It doesn't make sense that Aang would be the one putting this on them and stuff. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Like
No, I
I
just
like the
realized.
idea. I like the idea of Aang showing parental favoritism to his actual bending son. That's not a
I
bad
imagine
idea.
that happened, but yeah, it went too far.
But,
Where it's
like-
like they're just like,
but,
oh,
like,
what's this?
Where,
To the point
where
where
he
he
says,
ignored
where he's
them.
basically like, where it says, "You guys went on family vacations without us." I'm like,
What?
the fuck you should
You know what's crazy?
no.
He
Aang would bring
named
all of his kids.
and
Aang
yet
would
he
bring
named one
all
of his kids Boomy after one of Aang's longest friends. You think the kid he named Boomy would be one of his favorites? But nah, you're not a bender. You're a loser, Boomy.
get out, get out. You just I mean, like fuck. What like what like I'm surprised he didn't name what was like Aang's teacher's name?
Um,
God, I can't think of his name right now.
Gyatso.
Alright.
Gyatso. That was his name. Gyatso. Monk Gyatso.
I don't know. I'm
Like,
not gonna.
why
I'm not
didn't
gonna
he
split-
name one of his
I'm not gonna split hairs on that. That's like, yeah, but that's I don't know. I also
Yeah.
don't like when people do that in fiction because then it gets confusing. Because like you can talk about like for example, in Dragon Ball, you say Gohan. You're probably gonna mean the one that's in Dragon Ball Z, but there's also the other Gohan. It gets confusing.
I mean, there's two Gohans in Dragon Ball Z. There's the awesome Gohan, and then there's the disappointment Gohan.
Oh, no,
Well,
Dragon Ball, the other show I never watched.
That's weird to me.
Hatchet, what have you watched, dude? Like,
Okay, so 1960s anime people don't hear of.
Like
Which one?
Astro Boy, Gegege, no Kitaro.
Ashley's Heat. They get no Kitaro. Oh, the original?
Yeah, I've been watching the original. It's fucking amazing.
Ah, okay. What else? Because I've been meaning to get into the original. I don't know. I like.
I can't think of anything.
Okay, let's talk
It's
about.
hard to
let's
find
talk
the
about
original.
let's talk about like something that like everyone could talk about because Smug has been quiet
What?
as fuck.
Oh no,
And I
I've just
think
been. I've just been listening to you guys.
I don't know.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say we could go around and say our favorite character in the show. I guess
In Korra or Avatar?
Avatar, the original one.
Oh yeah, because well, when I was a kid, I think the most like, oh my god, that's so awesome kind of feeling I got was when Toph was introduced. Because like I know what Daredevil was like, because he could like fight and shit, even though he was like blind, like he could sense all that. But I don't know, I think I kind of was like more interested in like Toph because she could like airbend and shit, even though she was like blind, and she was like a teenage girl who could like straight up like what was this, straight up like defeat older opponents who were, you know, who had a ton of experience. So it's kind of like, you know, that kind of added to it. At least that's how I remember it. I don't know if that's exactly how it was, but I'm gonna have to.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate actually.
When they
Except
also
like
introduced her, she was
Toph-
like
Toph
pretending to be
did
a
have
frail
tons of
person.
experience though.
Oh yeah, she was trained by the moles.
The moles.
Yeah, they were the original Earthbenders before they changed the canon. And then what were the then like dragons were the original firebenders.
Yeah,
They literally just learned from the fucking moon.
but you know that got changed too, where it was the first
The turtle.
Avatar who taught the dragon how to fight.
The turtles, yeah.
Oh yeah, the turtle
was-
gave
it
him
was-
the powers, and then he taught the dragon.
I don't know. You could maybe say there's maybe some kind of dark ages where they forgot how to bend or something like that. I don't know. I doubt they thought about this.
Yeah,
that was just me filling in blanks that maybe made all this make sense.
Yeah, it was just stupid. Anyway, Wayward, you go. Who's your favorite character?
Zuko, he had the best character arc, and I thought he was really cool as a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like I heard someone say this, and I never wanted to punch somebody more in the face in my entire life. They said Zuko and Kylo Ren are basically on par with each other. I said,
I see that I've seen maybe one of the versions of them that exists. They were trying to do something like Zuko.
One alternate
the
version.
Well, you know, because there are two different versions in the two different movies. I didn't see the third movie, so I don't know. Maybe he's like the other one. Maybe there's three. There's three of them. I don't know. There probably
At least
was.
the Abrams
When I
cut.
hear about it. There probably was a third version. There's probably just three different Kylos.
you know what
Kinda
happened to the, you know what happened to the third version? Basically, he becomes good because reasons, and he forgives himself, guys, and Ray heals him, and he
With his-
becomes good again, even
should
though
have.
we have, and he becomes good. It's good.
She prayed the incel out of him. Just have we not just talked about that?
And no, like even
She
like
taught him too.
apparently like she didn't. It's just so bad. Okay, let's not talk. Let's not open that can of worms. Let's not bags go. For I go on a rant. Who's your favorite
All
character?
right,
Go.
favorite character. Oh, okay. Let's keep the horny out. Let's see.
Keep the horny in. Keep the horny in.
If we're keeping the horny in, it has to be Katara. I loved her. I loved her, despite the many moments where she just came off a bit too stupid. And
Oh,
a
yeah,
bit
she
too
was like-
naggy.
But
Well, that was the
But-
whole. That was the whole point. She was supposed to be like. She was like.
Yeah, I
the
know.
teen mom.
she was.
But like,
she was.
you know, like, damn,
I like.
stop hating sometimes.
Yeah, she did.
She was
I
like.
hate her.
She was like. Basically, like. She was kind and motherly, but she was also very bossy and stubborn.
Yeah. Think about how, like,
and
at first, Aang
and
was like,
and
"Why you hating, bruh?" When they had the scroll training episode, and then when Zuko came along, he's like, "Why is she hating, guys?" And he had to take her to a whole trip to get revenge. Just like, oh, I see why you hating. You just got issues.
I like that. I like that one episode where I really liked Katara and Toph's relationship a lot. They were very
Oh, yeah.
opposite ends, and they really actually used that.
It
Some
reminded
good drama.
me. It reminded me of Starfire and Raven's relationship. Like
I think they-
Starfire was.
I think they did a lot better in Avatar. I'll say it felt a lot more natural to me, and that does hurt for me to say something negative about Teen Titans, but there it is.
I mean, like the comics did it better, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah, the comics did do it better. The new Teen Titans did do it better, because like they spent a lot more time showing like how Raven was isolated and like Starfire's more of a free spirit and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it was
but-
it was definitely interesting in that one because it took she was very instrumental for Raven once she started getting her emotions.
Yeah, like basically, Nightwing and Corey were like Raven's mom and dad for a while, basically her parental figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, which is okay. Ew.
And she was like, hey,
She was college age, bear that in mind too. But she just
yeah.
she just didn't really have too much of a bearing on, well, for one thing, she wasn't raised on Earth, and then two, she was raised without emotion. So after Trigon got defeated, she actually had emotions, and she was just like, "Oh, what's this?"
And she got together with Beast Boy, and Beast Boy.
That was way later. That was Beast
Yeah,
Boy was 2003.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like she got together with Beast Boy, and they actually like developed Beast Boy into a character too until like they did I think it was Flashpoint, and kind of rewrote everything.
Oh yeah,
and
now she's
Beast
a
Boy-
hipster teen.
And now Beast Boy is like a complete joke again. All that development went out the window.
I hate to get on Teen Titans tangent, but I'll just say this: like, it works a bit better with Beast Boy when they make him just like take him down to his bare bones parts of his characters, because at least he's still like funny guy. Raven doesn't really work, and then a lot of people don't know what to do with their powers either, which is the worst part.
Yeah, that's one
Yeah,
thing people
like-
don't want to do.
Because they're just like, some people are just like, oh, she's a psychic or a magic person, and they'll just kind of write her doing whatever.
Yeah, like here's the thing about Beast Boy. I really want to get off my chest. Beast Boy had so much development in the comics, because he went from like an arrogant teenager in the Doom Patrol, right? And then he
Mhm.
slowly became more of a leader and became more of like a serious member of Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And then Flashpoint happened, and it was like
Ugh.
they
That's-
rewrote him into like the permanent comic relief, and I'm like,
Congratulations,
Dude.
you're in the rank of clown.
That's pretty much all my favorite characters in DC. Honestly, they just turn them
Yeah,
into like
like-
complete one-dimensional jokes. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't care
Booster
anymore.
Gold is a one-dimensional joke. Beast Boy is a one-dimensional joke. Those are like the two off the top of my head.
Wally,
Nightwing, they
like,
just keep flipping the die, throwing the dice around, just see what. Okay, now he's a spy.
You're a spy now.
please give
Your name is Rick.
Nightwing and please make Dick and Corey actually make them like a good couple because they
Yeah.
are a good
That's-
couple, but they don't want them to be for some stupid ass reason.
Oh yeah, because
DC's
they
afraid of
basically in case you didn't know, there's like a bunch of behind the scenes thing where Marv had creative control over him. He was actually the editor of Titans, and he actually got a lot of sway on what happens with Dick Grayson. Everybody else in DC was just like they hated his guts for that because they're just like, oh, we can't use Dick Grayson and Batman, and then now cut to now they won't use him. They won't use They won't use anybody. Like they'll like. There's like Damian who? Oh no, we gotta have this solo Batman story where he's crying again.
Yeah, like even I think Pope Fire said this too. Like behind the scenes, DC really hates Dick and Corey being together. Like they
Yeah.
really hate them together, and
That's
they
why
do
there's,
everything in their power.
Superman
make
fucking
sure that they
mermaid.
don't
Come
end up
on.
Where like it's always like sometimes it's Barbara and Dick.
Yeah,
They
like,
wanna
I
do-
I
remember.
will say it's not terrible, but
Because
I
they had to
remember-
rewrite Barbara for that to work, though.
you had to rewrite
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
remember-
stuff in the continuity.
I remember when they made him go back to Oracle to announce like that he's marrying Corey, and the first thing they make them do is have sex. And
Of
I'm
course.
like, what the fuck?
Stupid.
Yeah,
And then she's like, yeah, and then like
I hate
then
when-
he's like, she's like,
Yeah, I hate when that
and
happens.
then like she gets like a hissy fit and like, oh well, you just wanted to have sex with me out of pity and doing this. I'm like, who wrote this shit?
no,
Ooh,
like
that-
yeah, they were making it to like
Isn't-
it's because they were making it from the perspective that like Barbara was the main one at that point. But like yeah, basically it doesn't make any sense because like Dick was like he's like when he went to like Tamarian culture, everybody was just kind of like free and doing whatever. He was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I
Bruce Wayne.
I feel pretty. he directly said, I'm pretty conservative about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I
not a
don't
swinger.
like. Yeah, exactly.
Not a gigolo. I'm a man.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
into
and
that.
oh yeah, one more thing about the Barber thing too. For clarity, he was 13 at the time that she was created, and she was like she had like a med degree by that point, or doctorates.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, she played the
Nah,
long
it just,
game. Played the long game for the long
The
dick.
long game. Her and Padme are in the running
Exactly.
for young boys.
Grayson
Grooming
to
girls, let's
name.
go.
My Annie, look how you've grown. Oh my Dick, look how you've grown.
and that's not. She's not talking about his name.
Anything Teen Titans should have stayed after the 2000s because anything in the 2010s has been fucking invisible.
It's been terrible.
I mean,
especially,
you know,
they had
especially,
innocent
especially,
moments.
especially Starfire. What they did to Starfire was unforgivable.
At least it's
They
not.
don't. They won't do
what's
anything
it
with her.
called?
They just like they'll put her on like they put her on the kids team for some reason. Like when Rero's
Yeah.
came around.
Hey,
I think-
Starfire is now a strong, independent black lady alien. So that shit's on her.
You know, that's another thing too when it comes to like the current age groups with these guys. It's so all over the place now. I'm like, how old is Corey supposed to be? How old is Dick supposed to be now? When the Titans is still a thing, she's still on the
I don't-
Titans.
In the original, I remember in the original, she was like physically in her early 20s.
Yeah.
Probably like
and
19ish, because that's what about
Yeah.
when it starts up, when New Teen Titans starts up, Dick is like a little bit older than 18,
He's he's in his early 20s.
and I think by around like 80 like 1985 our time, he's like it gets mentioned that he's 20.
Yeah, big boy.
Yeah, because the thing about the thing about Corey is what I don't understand is they try to make her, and people did point this out, like they said Starfire, like I say, like 2003 Starfire series did mess up her character, and I can kind of see that influence into like the modern stuff. Like they try to like play her off as a bit
I
more
agree, yeah.
innocent.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
they'll even do like in that 2016 one. They specifically made her. They did like the talking patterns like she does in the
Yeah.
cartoon as well.
I am not
Yeah,
the
I
way
know.
of the. Can you not? That's the cartoon. Leave that to the side.
Yeah, and like
yeah, I mean, like
the cool thing about her is she's like Red Sonja pretty much, but with space setting.
Yeah, like in the original New Teen Titans, she was extremely violent. She would fuck shit up at the drop of a hat.
She was
She
emotional.
was she was very emotional. People tend to forget that she actually started off as a sex slave. That's
I
not
didn't
brought
forget.
up often.
Yeah.
That's not brought. It's not brought up very often. But like, she was like originally like a sex slave, and anytime somebody brought that up, she would like go into a huge fit of rage because of that shit. Yeah, like, and yeah, don't get me wrong, but like, and like, she was, like I said, she was super violent. She was nowhere near as naive. She was still ignorant, but she wasn't like straight up naive.
Yeah.
You know, so it was definitely 2003 Titans took a lot of liberties with
Took a lot of
with
liberties, and
characters.
it's definitely affected a lot of the Titans going on forward. even to this day.
Perception.
My least
Perception
favorite
of the
one is where
Titans.
they like people get like say like the new Terra, the 2003 Terra, that one like really affected Terra, like how she gets perceived, like she has to be like a victim now.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
instead
because
of the
Tara was a manipulative
She
bitch
was
in the
a
comics. She
manipulative-
was
that ass.
She wanted to kill them because they were good people. That was the reason
Yeah.
she hated them.
Like I got into Titans through the cartoon, but then
Yeah,
going
and
through
a
the
lot of-
comics as
Same
a kid, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, Terry, you a bitch! Spit on your grave.
yeah, like she was
What's wrong with you?
she like, again, I don't know, man. It's like you can, let's put it, like, the 2003 cartoon is good,
No, I like that version.
but
I
it
just
should
don't think
be,
it's
but it's just a self-isolated thing. It's good
Yeah.
in its own right,
yeah.
but
no,
like, in terms of like how it portrays the characters, it's not the best way.
I think they're both valid. My thing is like when they try and mix the two together, it doesn't work because like that the Judas Contract movie they did recently. I say recently, it was like 4 years ago, but
Yeah.
they basically tried to have it both ways, where she was like a she was a complete bitch, but then she's also got this dark backstory where you're supposed to feel sorry for her. I'm like, no, she's a bitch. She's a traitor.
That's another thing
She had
too, which I found
choices.
so weird when they really tried to push Cyborg onto the Justice League, removing
Oh, that's the
Cyborg from the
worst.
Teen Titans, leaving such a gaping hole for a member. Like, dang.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna say
like,
this straight up to you. I'm gonna say this straight up. I think the Justice League aren't as interesting, like bouncing off each other very well, like as other teams. So like he'll get there, and he's not even sarcastic anymore. That's something I hate too. He's not sarcastic.
Yeah, because on the team, he's only one thing. He's just the guy who opened up boom tubes.
Well, see,
He's
that's
just a designated driver now.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's like,
Cyborg,
he's
take
like-
us to the apocalypse.
That's the
so we
thing,
can
though.
get
yeah,
wrecked.
like,
when they try-
and that's the thing. Like, me and Wayward agreed on this. One of the best incarnations of the Justice League was the animated version. That was
Yeah, I
like
think
one of the that's one of if not the best.
You have to change them a little bit to like make them work in the team format, and they actually did that with that one. That's why I'll say, like, I'm not really a big Batman and Wonder Woman fan like together, but they actually had good chemistry in that, to where I actually
Yeah, in the DCAU they have chemistry until the comics.
You know, if I could say this,
Like,
thing
I
that the Justice League starts to piss me off with is every time they add Cyborg, they always have to do the
Ugh.
same old. Oh, he's an intern. He's the new guy. He's
Turn, yeah.
They basically
Let me show you
Yeah.
the ropes,
It's supposed to be the
Cyborg.
big leagues. I don't understand why they do that. And like, they could, if they want to, if they really I don't feel like they have to have a black guy there per se. I'm black. I feel like I should be able to say this. I don't feel like you have to have like specifically, because like the whole point of Justice League is the bangers. You know, it's the top selling titles all together in one title. That's the whole gimmick.
Cyborg doesn't
and
fit.
not to say, and Cyborg isn't like a bad character. Far
No,
from
it's
it.
just
I
he's bad because he can't bounce off them. He can't bounce off them at all.
he's
You know,
always
like he like
here's-
his chemistry with like, he has good chemistry with some characters. Like who's the Islamic Green Lantern girl? I forgot her name.
I could see that. They should've-
Yeah, they have decent
like
they
that
have decent
too, man.
chemistry. I think they have decent chemistry.
I didn't read. I didn't read to that part. I read the new 52 when they started, and he's just kind of there.
He's there. He's just
Yeah.
there. He's designated driver. We need boom.
And
School.
I don't
Hurry
like
up,
that.
Cyborg.
I don't like the. I don't like
It's
that origin for him, where he's they had to make
Fused
him
with a
bigger and
mother
badder.
box.
Yeah, they had to make him bigger and badder, and it lost a lot of the
Yeah.
small scaleness that made him good too.
Ooh, and you know what? The Young Justice version made the story even way worse. It was like you're fused with a messed up mother box. It was a mess.
It was
I
a
couldn't
father
get into that.
box.
That father
Yeah,
box.
and then they did like the whole thing where like Garfield is technically a Martian. That's why he can shapeshift.
Not- Young Justice
No,
did
they changed
some
it again. They
weird
changed it again in season 3, where they changed it
What?
where he was connected to the green. They
Oh yeah, when he had that hallucination and they saw the monkey.
yeah,
I'm-
but God, they really
Hey,
that
babe,
whole plot line
that's
where
evil.
they're like we're gonna be the outsiders and we're gonna start a movement. Like they're doing a hashtag movement about that. I was like, oh, you've already
Yeah.
you've lost me now. You officially
Yeah.
lost me, show.
I forgot to ask because I don't know if any of you guys will agree or have seen it, but I will say, so you know how we all kind of agree Cyborg in the League just doesn't work. He feels out of place. He did kind of work in the live action Doom Patrol show though. I
Oh, he
don't know
did.
if anyone's seen that.
No,
But
he did.
going
He had-
into it,
he
I
had-
was
he
very
had-
worried, and I was
he had-
tired of Cyborg already. But seeing this version, I was like, this is not that bad.
Because he actually had a character and stuff, and then he actually had
Yeah.
people to bounce off of. Because he needs some dickish people to bounce off. Like he needs like a Beast Boy.
And he was expecting them to be better. and
Like
it's like
he's
worked.
like
It really
Cyborg is the cool, collective, down to earth type of guy.
Yeah.
He's
He was-
he's always been like the guy who like kept everybody under control, but he knew when to have fun. You know what I mean? He was like
Yep.
basically ironically the most human out of everyone there, out of everyone in the
Yeah.
room. He was like the most laid back guy. That's what makes him a good character. He wasn't
I mean,
like
He was out like externally laid back. He wasn't actually laid
Yeah,
back.
not internally because we know why. Internally, we know why. You can see why in the inside he's dying. Oh my! It's just like
He was like made of sarcasm. That's another thing I liked about him too. Like he always had a snappy thing. He was calling people. He had like mean nicknames for every single member of the team, pretty much.
Yeah, you know, if there's any character, maybe a stretch, but if there's any character I could think of, like Cyborg, I'd say Ben Grimm, because those are two characters.
Oh,
who,
definitely.
on the
can see
outside,
that
put on a
perfectly.
nice, calm facade, but on the inside, they're always just like, "Damn, I'm a monster," or something like that. You know, it's like those are two characters I think about.
I wouldn't say that for Ben Grimm. I think Ben was a little bit. Well, he was definitely like sarcastic, but he wasn't like.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's why I said it's a bit.
Yeah,
of a
he was.
stretch,
He
'cause
wasn't
I
like.
know
It
they
wasn't
don't
like
care too much.
Cyborg where he was like friendly and outgoing and
Yeah.
pretty okay. Ben was pretty much very clearly hated it. He just kind of downplayed how bad he was hurting, basically.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
the point where it was kind of like mild, ironic snark.
yeah. Compare that to how much he's grown. Like new Ben, he's more comfortable.
Hey,
he's
Beta
less
Cat's here. Hey, Beta Cat.
angry.
Hey,
Hey,
Oh, the chat. Yeah, and he's like
okay.
less angry and stuff. Now, less worried. I want to say angry. I want to say Ben.
Yeah, he's
angry.
just I would say like the best word to describe Ben Grimm is Byronic. He's very moody, very sarcastic, very brute, but he's not like an asshole.
Yeah, not definitely not an asshole.
Cyborg is very good at being an asshole. That's my favorite thing about him.
He was
Cyborg
he was
in
kinda
Doom
like-
Patrol is the best version.
Oh,
of
he was like
Cyborg.
one. He was
Mr.
like
Beta
that.
Cat
You know, he's that meme where like the guys like it's like oh, see you later. See you later. Like homo, and he's like oh, love that guy.
Love
Yeah,
that guy.
he's like I haven't seen Doom Patrol. I heard it's probably the best DC nation,
not-
like the best
It's all
DC.
right. I'll say that. Like, I think it's all right. It's
Yeah, it's alright, but it's definitely better than Titan.
oh, Titan's
Yeah.
abysmal.
Far
like,
better.
Don't even
I
be
saw
familiar
like
with Titan.
I saw the first few episodes and I'm like, nah, this isn't for me.
Nah,
I can't.
I did about the same. I got to episode 4, and I was like, okay.
I
I got
finished
some pretty
all
good
of
laughs
Titan.
out of it.
It
I'm
was
waiting
painful.
for Batwoman to finish up just so I can watch Jay Longbone rip into the Titan show.
Mr. Beta Cat said
I-
Ben Grimm was used to advertise bacon burgers for Denny's.
Yeah, like I was with
Nice.
Fan Four Stick. That was with Fantastic Four
Fantastic Four.
reboot.
4 movies. 4 movies for the Fantastic Four, and all 4 fucking sucked except for the George Carlin.
Like I kind of liked Silver Surfer. I thought that was okay.
Oh yeah, I unapologetically like those movies. I know they're not the best. I just kind of had fun with them when I was younger. I think I could still just watch it, move on with my life.
I can tell. They got it the closest, basically. They
Yeah.
got it the
I'm not-
closest.
I'm not gonna go around
And-
telling people, "Yo, this is amazing, 10 out of 10, true cinema." I'm not
but
gonna.
like it's
You can't- You can't do what I
I
do
will
with
say-
Catwoman.
basically like this. I think like the ones with the two Fox ones, right? I think the casting was really good,
Yeah, good.
and I
casting.
think
I'll
the
voice this up.
action was I think the action was adequate,
Yeah,
but like everything else was just not where it needs to. They needed to make Fantastic Four more like Guardians of the Galaxy, basically. Bring back the
exploration.
bring back the classic John Kirby style stuff, or even better yet, go balls to the wall insane John Byrne. Do that. Do something like that. Because John Byrne's run on it is again legendary. I love John Byrne's run on the Fantastic Four.
I don't
Yeah,
know. It'll probably just be like
someday I gotta
whatever
get
they
into
make
that.
now. It's gonna be boring. I just don't like the MCU's like setup.
Well,
Like-
Fantastic
like-
Four nowadays have not been utilized well. They don't really do explorations anymore. They're kind of always on Earth now in the comics. Like,
I'm
do
talking about the
something.
MCU. Like, I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
MCU. Oh, I don't know what they're
Yeah.
gonna do, but as someone who's already kind of done with that, I
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been done with
Like-
that since
Please don't touch
Black
it.
Panther. I was,
Please don't
Like
touch.
here's the thing. Like I think the MCU is like one of those things where there's some good. Like there's like the MCU isn't bad, but
It's
it
not. I
definitely
wouldn't
did
be that
bleed
mean.
some. It definitely did bleed in some negative stuff about in not only just media but also bled negative stuff about superheroes and normie culture and stuff like that.
Yes.
I
And
mostly just don't like
that's
how
definitely
As someone
it's
who's lost his
definitely-
one Twitter account to MCU fans, it's just like,
I would just,
It's
I just
really
think they're
left a
they're
bad
kind of
effect.
boring. I just think they're boring movies. Like, I just wish they would like get a. They can't really do that because they got to make it all like with that
MCU
whole.
is
It has to be that
decent,
like style. It
but
has to, they can't do like a different style movie really.
like the one movie I'm looking forward to in the MCU now is Doctor Strange for one reason
Yeah.
and one reason only.
Raimi.
Raimi's coming back.
My God,
Raimi's,
my Lord and
Raimi-
Savior.
Sam Raimi is coming back,
Okay,
and
Slim,
I'm like,
you know how I don't watch Avatar and how I never seen Dragon Ball? Guess what else I never
Yeah.
seen?
what?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Which ones? Which
Yeah,
ones?
Raimi one.
The
The
Raimi
Raimi
one.
ones?
Yes.
I mean,
Like
I don't know if you have Hulu or Netflix, but I think one is on Hulu, and I
one
think
is
three is
definitely
on
on
Netflix?
Hulu.
yeah,
one
one
is
is on Hulu because I
definitely on
watched it
Hulu.
twice already again.
Oh, then I'm watching that tomorrow.
And then like if you have like Spectrum, I think they have Spider-Man 2 on there.
Because I
I don't know.
can't find Spider-Man 2
I'll-
anywhere else.
All I know is those are the most quotable movies out there.
Yeah, because like they're like if you want to get a good idea of who Peter Parker is and what Spider-Man means as a character,
He told
the
the story
Raimi
well.
movies are the Raimi movies are the best depiction of Spider-Man on screen.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
from
want to
comic
start my
I never-
shill
from comic
stuff again,
from
but I
comic
agree.
yeah, like from comic to move to big screen, because Raimi was a big fan of the comics too. So
Yeah.
from like comic to big screen, that's basically the most comic accurate. Or you can just watch Spectacular Spider-Man. It's just a
That's
fucking
true,
awesome
yeah.
show. But like that one is less it's more the
A lot
classic
of
Spider
chances,
Ultimate
a lot of free stuff
Spider-Man's
to take.
a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man is thrown in there though.
Yeah.
A lot of Ultimate Spider-Man is thrown in there.
Not the
But like in
Marvel
terms of
NBC
like
Ultimates.
All I'll say is if you
What?
ever do get to watch the Raimi films, they do have good action. They have good drama. You need that drama.
they got a
it's
good
just fun.
they got the
It's
best
there,
scene in the movie where MJ's trapped in the rain and it's the best scene of the movie. And you know why.
Yeah, I know why.
I know for a fact that if I watch those movies, I'm gonna love Jameson a lot.
Jameson's
yes,
you
great,
will.
and then also
Jameson-
I just
Every
think-
comeback, every line with Jameson, perfection.
Like people always say like Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark or oh my god Steve Rogers is it is indeed like who is it
Chris
there's so
Evans?
many Chris Evans there's so many Chris's in the MCU I lose track.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of like, Chris's.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the most accurate depiction of a comic book character in the history of cinema will always be J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. He was
Yes.
perfection.
It's why I also don't like. I know everyone. Those like the MCU fans, they were geeking when he was in MCU, but for me, it's just like, damn, this is just pandering. he has no relation to rat this man out. But he
I
did
Did he work
still-
in the movie? Did he work there? And, like, did he actually work for the newspaper in that version?
and
They said he was like an Alex Jones type
they
character.
made him Alex
Oh,
Jones.
they went
Basically.
with the
Yeah.
It's a funny joke, but like if you actually like James Jonah, it's kind of a snub, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm like, it's nice. I mean, it's there, I guess.
I don't
but
like
would
it
if
because
he
like
wasn't in
because
there
like
in general.
J. Jonah at the end of the day was an ethical journalist and he
Yeah.
did take his job seriously.
He would have adopted a child.
Yeah,
There's
like
a child
he would
still.
like yeah, but like Alex Jones is kind of partly parody
Yeah,
and honestly he's very very much not meant to be taken all that seriously. So
Yeah.
I think that making him like this Alex Jones-esque character, because they did this in the game too. They did this in Spider-Man game too.
Well, wasn't that in
Except-
what's his face's comic? Dan Slott's.
I
I never read it. I just know that's a thing. I mean,
I
I
mean,
saw all
like-
I need to see from his comic where it was the scene where he's like mind raping Mary Jane through Peter's memories.
Eh, like
Have you seen
Dan
that
Slott-
page?
yeah.
Well,
Dan
like you did
Slott
the
has
page.
his- yeah. I don't want to think about it. Okay, Jesus Christ.
It's
Like
It's pretty,
Dan Slott has his ups and downs. Like he can mix I actually liked his run on She-Hulk. I think like how we reintroduced like the funny, silly She-Hulk. I thought that was pretty good. But he has his ups and his downs. He's not like Bendis where I don't know why people still put faith in Bendis. I don't.
No, he was good at one point. I just don't think he's been good in a long time.
Yeah, same. I told my friend
Like,
he thinks Bendis has been doing good as of late, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm sorry, I have to disagree. Bendis,
Like
he-
he
he's
literally
doing whatever
wrote a
he wants.
character who hacked a power ring. How do you hack
Power
a
ring.
power ring? That
Because he
doesn't
keeps
But
doing
then
the
he
same
retconned that.
character.
They
He keeps doing the same
retconned it to
character.
she lied and that she found it. And I was like, what? Then why?
You can't
then
find
why did
it.
she lie? Why did?
can't
Yeah,
find
that
it
too.
either.
It goes worse.
It literally chooses you. It doesn't make any sense.
Not this
I don't
time.
even
Can't do
know much
that.
about Green Lantern. I know this.
You know, with Bendis, you always got to watch out for that one black insert he'll always just put in
He's-
any
He's
story.
got. He's trying to give his he has an adopted black daughter from what I hear, and that's
Yeah,
like
I know
basically
that, but like,
Yeah.
does she need to be in every one of your stories, bro?
No, no.
Leave her the hell
It
out
was
of it.
already like it was like the Young Justice story. Like I read the first arc, and it was just so bloated because like she never actually did anything in the story. She contributed.
I mean,
You could have took her out of
I
the
was-
story, and it would change
I'm
nothing.
like, if I was his daughter, but nigga, I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for caring. Shit. You don't have to put me in everything.
I mean, like,
Oh my god! Actually,
like what?
I was thinking about this. Like,
Can you guys hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I was thinking about this too. Like,
Yeah.
you ever hear about like the guy, Christopher Robin, like from Winnie the Pooh is actually like the creator's
yeah.
son, and he like hates
Yeah.
that character because of
Hates
that.
it,
Do you
yeah.
think she's gonna be that way? She's gonna be like, oh
Uh,
man,
Probably, but I doubt she even. See, the problem is Winnie the Pooh is famous though. Like, it's one of the most
That's a good point.
infamous things on the planet. These are comics, so she doesn't have to worry about that.
I
shit.
mean-
ain't nobody going to. No disrespect to Neo.
if anyone like, if she like reads Riri Williams, I would be like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. This character was inspired because she wanted to be treated like Dad, you gotta talk, because this is some,
Yeah, what the hell?
this
this
is some
is getting
shit. Like we gotta talk, because like
Yeah,
this is some
I'd be
shit.
surprised. I'd be surprised if Bendis doesn't have his own daughter literally cameo in the Riri Williams movie. Like, and with that one cat in the background is like, "You're amazing." Just puts her hands on Riri's shoulder, and it's Bendis' daughter. Just do it for the camera, honey.
don't-
Just do it for the camera.
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen, because she's gonna get her own series, and so is America Chavez and
Ew.
Miss America.
Oh, they're
Well,
gonna
all I
Disney
gotta
say-
Plus.
all
They're all
I
gonna
have
be
to
Disney
say
Plus.
is- I would watch American Chavez. I would, if they get a nice spicy mama to play the role. I'll tune in for one episode just to see it. I'm like, all right, there's a spicy mama here, decent, fat ass. Let me stop.
But like, here's like the
Yet
thing
to
about America Chavez is like, she is like literally one. Like, if she was just a little self-aware, she'd be a perfect parody comic. If you added a bit of self-awareness, she would be the perfect SJW parody comic.
Here's the thing: it actually be too on the nose because like she's like they got living on a lesbian planet that was made by lesbian gods.
tell me you're fucking joking.
That's real.
They
That's
can't
real.
do
Yeah,
that.
like that's actually a thing.
No. Oh my
Yeah, that's
fucking
actually a thing. I'm not even kidding.
I hate
And then
Marvel.
she did like there's like literally her, I think her first solo run, she basically breaks up with a girlfriend because she can't go, she doesn't want to move to the other side of the country. Guess what America Chavez's main power is?
What?
It's fucking teleportation. You can go
Anywhere.
across the world in
Anywhere.
literally seconds.
You know,
and
I'm not
you
trying to
break
like.
up with her for something like that.
I don't
No,
want to
no,
detour from this, but I'm thinking like the same thing happens in like Steve Universe Future, where he's like, "Oh no, what if I can't visit Connie often?" And I was like, "But you have a lion that could teleport."
Yeah, like you can
You
do.
have a lion.
And
that
then
could
like
teleport.
he tries, and then like he leaves at the end of the series, and I'm like, nigga, you went to outer space. You can't just
He's
say
depressed,
you went to
Slim.
outer space.
I
and
watched
all
the
that
review.
shit.
And I thought
Depressed. Slim, he's
Like,
sad. He needs
I
help.
was like, wouldn't he go with large something like that? That would make more sense. Like out into space. Like, but like, why would he care about just seeing the world?
I gave up on
But-
Steven Universe a long time ago because I
Same here,
knew
And
dude.
that's
I
fair.
just- I watched
That's-
reviews
I mean,
recently.
good
That's
job
only-
on giving up. Me, sometimes I'm always in for the long run, even if it like feels like a punch to the face.
I
think,
used to do that. I used to
think-
do that.
I think the last episode I watched was this crying dude who was trying to be back friends with Carnival Barker, I think.
The last one I watched was
Um,
the Alcatraz one.
Here's
I-
here's the thing about Steven Universe, because I watched it up until it was the episode where I think it was a single pale rose, and it's revealed that his mom was actually Pink Diamond, and I was like, okay, I actually liked that twist. It was obvious, but I was like, okay,
Yeah.
how is everyone going to react to this? Guess how everyone reacted to it.
Day.
Ow.
Forgiveness in
No
less than a
one
day.
gave a shit. No one gave a shit. And I'm like, are you serious? Are we just gonna sweep this under the rug? And like, yeah, we're gonna sweep this under the rug. And
The
I'm
way
like,
that's
are
under
you
the rug is
fucking kidding
terrible
me?
because-
They
like-
find out that Rose Quartz is Pink Diamond, and they just
Yeah.
do not fucking care. Nobody gave a
The
shit.
thing is, they cared because they cared that Pearl lied. They're like, Pearl, you knew, and Pearl literally couldn't say anything because she was given the order to. It's kind of a messy
And
situation
even-
where Pearl's arc is she's free to do whatever she wants, but then the show goes back and says, "Oh, nah, she's still under her spell." So,
But
so
but-
Garnet gets
no matter
angry,
what, she's
and
still
an
her
episode later, they're good. Episode later, they're good. They're fine. Everything's cool.
but like
We forgive you,
here's
we
the
gotta
thing.
move on.
Here's the thing though. Like they retconned so much to try to justify Pink Diamond being the good guy, and I'm like, no, she basically caused an entire planetary war that killed and mutated and psychologically destroyed so many of her friends because basically she was bored.
Bored
I mean-
and sad that her sisters, I'm gonna say sisters, her big sisters never listened to her, and her sisters would lock her in a room when she did bad things. I'm just like, that's not an excuse.
And I mean, and then what they did to Bismuth pissed me off because I was like, she just
That was
sweeps
weird.
that under the rug, even though like that was a big part of her character.
You
Was
could have
like,
just told her that's like, yeah, no, she's not
I
dead.
am the diamond. You're gonna kill me, bro. But instead
Like,
she's like,
here's the
nah,
thing-
homie.
and
Locks
then
her
I was
away.
and then
I mean,
I'm
I
like,
guess you could kind of argue that that's part of the series themes where it's like, hey, you're supposed to talk to people, but then they did. You're also saying they didn't talk about it. I don't know. Like I said, I stopped watching once, mostly just because it got boring because they just kept like I was like, hey, we got this like interplanetary conflict going on. Maybe we should focus on that. Oh no, we're having another one about some random beach city person. I don't give a shit.
and then like here's the thing, what I love about like Steven Universe, modern Steven Universe, like everything post season 3 Steven Universe, I think that's hilarious. Is that pretty much Steven becomes the ultimate Gary Stu. Everything goes right for Steven, and he's able to do whatever he wants. And everything he does goes his way with little to no effort put on his part. And one of the things that make it funny is that I remember how like half of Twitter pretty much said, "Oh my God, Steven Universe is so mature for bringing up PTSD." And I'm like, here's the thing though, like if you look closely throughout that episode, what do you notice about it? All of the stuff that's happening, all the quote unquote PTSD that happened to him, they're bringing this shit up from the first 3 seasons. None of the modern seasons are in that PTSD episode, kind of highlighting that Steven hasn't really been through jack shit for the past 2 seasons.
That's a good point. Because yeah, like I said, it just got like once it got to like season 3, whenever they beat, I feel like the high point of the series to me was when they beat what's her face, the big chick. Like
Yeah,
that,
Jasper, they defeated
Yeah.
Jasper.
that was like
And
the
then
highlight
like
for me. Like I felt like actually like it led up to that point pretty well and stuff, and then it just kind of got really boring.
yeah, like Steven Universe took a huge nosedive after that.
After when they start showing the barn in that show, then it just all fell hill.
I don't know. I liked parts of the barn, but I think that it could, like I said, I really do think like it comes down to, and I think like you guys know Rainbow Squid Ink, right? She said it the best way possible. Is that Steven Universe is basically became Barney for adults. It tries to water down. It tries to water down so many concepts, so many complicated concepts, but it does it in the most degrading way possible. And like, you're supposed to take it seriously? Are you kidding me?
I actually kind of want to add to that I guess like when I saw the zoo on my mind, I kind of realized like how I think what they were kind of going for with that episode with that analogy was that, like, how kind of like echo chambers kind of like make people more, I guess, sensitive. I don't know. That's just how I kind of interpret it.
No,
but,
they're not. They're not that clever, Smug. They're not that clever.
uh,
They're not clever enough.
The only thing I started to like in all of the Barnes parts and all that was Peridot and Lapis and how they were actually making a good, solid friendship.
Peridot is just awesome. I like her a lot. That's like
Yeah.
the one character.
Yeah,
That's the one character. I was like, yeah, it's great. I love her.
Lapis had the potential to be a really good character, but the problem was they kept going back to the whole her being a victim thing. If they literally just fucking let that go, and it kind of came up with some negative connotations that being a victim somehow makes you stronger. And I'm like that's how I interpret it anyway, because every time they bring up like how strong she is, she's like when they face Blue Diamond, right? When they're fighting Blue Diamond and she has like the power to make them like super emotional and so sad that they can't fight anymore. Lapis is like, yeah, I'm over that. I'm, and
I'll kind of give them a little bit here just because I feel like the point of like why they were different than the main gems was the fact that they were they were actually like non-robotic. They were actually emotional people. So I'll kind of give them a little bit of leeway on that.
I get
I also
that.
didn't watch that episode you're talking about though, so I really can't say for certain. I don't know.
Okay, so in that episode,
I don't think themes aren't everything either.
It's not that just Blue Diamond made her sad. Blue Diamond makes her sad, and she brushes away her tears, and it's like, I've been through worse. And the thing is, Blue Diamond's power works on her suffering. So is Blue Diamond suffering that her sister was murdered, potentially? That they still believe that. That suffering. So Lapis brushes that off and says, "I've been through worse." I'm like, no, you didn't though. You just been at the bottom of the sea.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You have to like compare.
Well, like,
but yeah, I get that, but like the one thing that I like, here's the thing about Steven Universe, they don't really go out of their way to like give us perspective on how things are really work, because because she basically says that being trapped in a mirror was basically a living hell.
Yeah.
But like it can't be as bad as like being a corrupted gym monster.
Well, like,
exactly.
And then like she says, "Oh, but I was trapped in the ocean with Jasper." But here's the thing: you did it. It was your choice. If you teamed up with the gems, you guys could have taken Jasper down.
She doesn't even need to team up with the gems because she's proven that she is stronger than all of them combined. In the same episode, Jasper is like, "Confusing me again." She legit water punches Jasper once, and she's gone.
Well, see,
just like,
yeah, you had no reason to fuse with her and keep her at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Let me put this into perspective.
Stupid power scaling.
Garnet and her fought to a standstill, meaning that the only reason she beat Garnet in the first place was because she had a gem destabilizer and she caught her off guard. Basically, she surprised her with the gem destabilizer, and that was it. But when they have a fair fight, she and Garnet are clearly clearly neck and neck, and technically Garnet wins. So
she won because she had power gay on her side.
Yeah, she had power of gay. She had the big gay on her side.
The big gay.
I don't know how gay is it. Like, isn't it more gay for them to be like in their culture? Isn't it more gay for them to be like
gay?
No, okay, I say the big gay because the song she's singing, she's legit like, "Haha, you're single. I'm in a relationship."
Oh yeah, that's like the one with the thing.
To be fair, it is a really catchy song. It's still,
I still like that's one of the few Stevie Universe songs I like. I still have that.
Yeah, that one's actually it's a good song.
That song.
I will say I think the soundtrack is a little bit overrated though. I'll say.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like
I like I
There's only
liked
two
I
songs
liked
I
it when I was a
really
kid.
like. There's only two songs I really,
I-
really like, even to this day, and that's the Garnet song and the one Greg sung when he
I
first
think
met
that song's
Rose.
good too. I'm talking about more about just the soundtrack itself, like like where they'll have like little like video gamey bleeps and bleeps. It kind of just sounds like
Oh no, that's
that stuff just sounds great. It,
yeah.
meh.
It
Like
sounds
I
like-
like
it
I
sounds
like-
like video
I like-
game music
I
made
like
by somebody
most-
who just want to play video games. That's what I'm
Yeah.
to say.
No, Slim.
I actually like this. I actually like the soundtrack. I do think that calling it Fantastic Amaze Balls is a bit out there,
Bit much.
but I do like the soundtrack. I did
I will.
like it.
I mostly bring that up because like they released a record of it and it was like #1 seller actually.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Dang. Wow. Okay. Well,
Oh yeah. Like I said,
It's-
like, I'm just like whatever everybody's into. I'm just like that's cool. Go for it.
congrats to them. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack's pretty good actually. I like it
Well, no, like,
for the
sorry.
most part.
Yeah, well, no, like tying back to what Slim said with how they barely explain shit and how badly they explain shit. The fusion metaphor, if you believe it's sex, and
Oh,
Laughing
boy.
Lastly literally had to fuck Jasper for
It's sex. It's sex. I don't care. They tried to play
Like-
off. It's sex. They can't
So
lie.
maybe she
anymore.
wanted to
Yeah.
go for
Well,
yeah,
she said
like
it.
so basically Steven fucked his dad.
Fuck
Oh,
his dad.
no.
I'll say it to the day I die. He did it. He was like, "Yo, dad. Hey, yo, fam. We gotta."
It's
Do the
just
deed.
you have to when you take a look at Garnet and you have to think fusion's a sex metaphor, then you have to think that these two childlike people have been having sex for
Hell yeah.
thousands of years at that.
Hell yeah.
like
Shagging it up.
I get
Basking in the afterglow.
like if they just kept it like here's the thing. They kept going back and forth with it. They kept saying, "Oh, it's a metaphor for a relationship," and I'm like, if you kept it at that, I would be like, okay, a little suggestive, but
Yeah.
fine. But then they kept like going back and forth and back and forth
Yeah.
and back and
The
forth,
Pearl one,
and
where
then it
she,
got convoluted.
Rapes Garnet.
Garnet opening her big legs
Well,
and
technically, that's not really. I will stand by this. It's not really rape. It's more like
like
tricking someone into sex.
Yeah, because
Yes,
rape
exactly.
is, you have no choice. There is no yes or no. With this one, she's like, Garnet, listen, if you're free and I'm free, we could use all the time. And then Garnet said, you use me. I'm Estelle. How dare you? And then it got weird from there on out.
I do think speaking of Estelle, I gotta say she is not a very good voice actor at all.
No.
She,
I love.
Yeah.
I love Estelle. She is an amazing singer. I love
Yeah.
her music, but
Yeah.
she just is not a good voice actor.
well, at least like you said, at least she's the best singer on the show. So
Yeah, she
There's-
really is.
there's that much I
amazing.
could give to her. She's
Yeah.
the best singer on the show. 'Cause Steven's voice is like grated cheese every time he sings.
I will say I saw some clips of Future. Like when he's not doing the little kid voice anymore, he sounds all right.
Yeah, he's definitely
Yeah.
matured into his puberty. It did him right.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like I think like
He's still
he was
he's still a
he was like
he's
14
still
when
a
it started.
he's still a fucking pussy though, but still. He's still
No, I'm just saying he doesn't sound like annoying because like I think for a while he was like doing the little like he was doing his voice like hey guys and he's like
Yeah,
making his
he-
voice go he's trying to make his voice slower like
Yeah, I don't know if
higher
that
than
was-
he is.
he did
intentional
do that deliberately.
if-
That was like a deliberate thing on like the
Yeah,
voice
okay,
acting.
because
They
I
said
just
it
thought
sound
his
like a
voice was
child.
really messed up.
He was like
I
14
just
when it
thought he
started.
was. Yeah, I thought he was just going through the terrible puberty at the time. I was like, uh-oh.
No, because like I think
No,
he was, like,
no,
yeah,
he
he
was like in his late teens to early 20s by like season 3.
yeah. He
Yeah.
was like I
He
said, he was
was-
doing a voice and like it sounded terrible. Like not like once once I got to Future, actually he sounds okay at that point.
Yeah.
You know something weird? Haley Joel Osment can still do a Sora voice. And when
Yeah.
you see Haley Joel Osment now,
He's like a little butterball.
Butterball.
man.
People look up to Haley Joel
Yours is Sora? He's just like, whoa.
He was on Drunk History
Holy
one time, and I was like,
shit.
"Oh, that's him."
Let's see.
I mean, he doesn't look terrible.
No, he just looks like
No,
he
no,
looks
he
like
doesn't,
he
doesn't,
just
doesn't.
he looked like he the kid from Sixth Sense grew up like 8 foot and then got
It
that.
became the
like-
kid from Six
like
Six became
Six
Zach
Seven
Galifianakis. That's what happened. He became Zach Galifianakis, basically.
He did.
Like,
That's what happened.
like it's like if James Cameron, I think that's his name, mixed with the fucking dude. That's what he looks like.
What?
You know, you guys just reminded me. I didn't know if any of you guys saw it, but so you know how they just ended the Superman, the DC animated movies
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Justice
I mean,
League Dark.
I didn't like that.
haven't
I didn't
been,
like those movies at all.
caught
Like,
up.
I didn't like them
Yeah.
either.
They
But,
all
I
um,
don't think anybody. No, the only one that I kind of like. The only one that I liked was that wasn't like a DC AU technically. I liked Superman versus the Elite. That was okay. That was pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like the New 52 line of films. You know,
Yeah,
after
they-
Justice
oh,
League
okay.
and
They're-
those films upwards.
They
Superman
were
Elite is a
really
good-ass
banking on those
film.
movies. Yeah, they're banking on those like comics being popular. Like I think
Yeah.
Flashpoint was kind of popular, and
Yeah, they made that movie.
That was man. I liked that comic at first, and then it just got like once it got to a certain point, I was just like, it's
I can no longer stand the concept of Flashpoint as a whole. It's
No,
just
it's
one
like- it's-
big reset
well, like-
button now.
even if you watch it as like just a singular thing, it's like it resets in the end. None of what happens in it actually matters.
Nothing matters. You see, that's the problem. Is what I brought up because I remember I said this to someone. They were like, "Oh, but you know, do you not like? Is your problem that you just have like you don't like Katniss dying?" I said, "No. The problem is nobody wins. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. They just had to reset it." And I compared it
Yeah,
to
like-
another story where it's kind of dark and a lot of Katniss die. The He-Man comics, the DC ones, the War of Eternia. In this comic, shit goes down. Hordak isn't playing around. Shit goes south. Skeletor's doing his own thing. People die left and right. But the villains do lose. The heroes win, and the heroes that are left, you know, they will continue to push on. And the heroes that did die, they didn't die so callously and done for just shock value. Like, haha, look, Batgirl got eaten. Look at the DC characters get eaten. It was just
Remember when
The shock
they like it's the reasons I didn't like Ultimates. Ultimates was way too edgy for me.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
thought it was edgy and
Mhm.
stupid.
Was that's actually my I'm gonna kind of date myself here, but that was like my introduction to Marvel. That was like when it was just getting on, like, you know, it was like
Yeah.
5 volumes in or something like that when I got on it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then like I was just like, oh, Wolverine tried to kill Cyclops so he can take Jean. That's very
A bit much.
heroic.
And
then-
and then there's like the incest between
up.
Quicksilver
read
and
that
Scarlet
one.
Witch.
And then
Mm,
yeah,
And then like Wayward, I know you're gonna hate this one, but when the Blob ate Wasp alive.
I hear about that. I'm not
That-
looking at that. That's not cool.
it's not canon to me.
That's not canon.
Well, I mean,
Jesus
it's
Yeah.
not yet.
Christ.
It never
and
happened.
what I
Nightcrawler's
really
a homophobe.
Oh,
what'd
I
you
remember
say?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he tried
What-
like
what-
he literally and they also kidnapped a bitch.
what'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Nightcrawler was a homophobe, and then he also tried kidnapped a bitch. Like he literally was
Yep.
like, oh, you know, went all complete like, you know, deranged incel and, you know, kidnapped her.
Nightcrawler,
Boom,
the
Boomcat,
Nightcrawler.
yeah, Boomcat did.
Ridiculous.
And then like I hate they fucked up Cap so bad. They made him like this
Oh my
racist,
God.
god awful, terrible. I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Like, I
Not a
know
fan of the
people
Ultimate.
go off
Not a fan.
on a tangent on like how they fucked up Captain America by making him a Nazi, but at least they say it was like brainwashing. This
Wait.
one legit
Well,
made him
first
a
it was
complete-
brainwashing, and then they changed it to that's not the real Cap. The real Cap is stuck in the Cosmic Cube, which they had to get him out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't
It got
really understand what
Okay,
happened
okay.
there. That I didn't read it, so I don't really know. But like, I thought I heard it explained as like they got a Cap from another dimension, and then they kind of just like did some kind of bullshit to where like they kind
Yes,
of like aligned
because
the
there was
timeline.
also when he was stuck in the cube, there was a child in there who was the cube, and she helped him get out, and then
Yeah,
then he
it's
one-shotted
just-
Nazi Cap, and they saved the world.
Okay, so I've never
Yeah.
read a single Ultimate comic because I like myself. But
It's a good call.
from what I'm gathering here,
Wise choice, sir. Wise
the
choice.
ultimate
Wise choice.
Captain America was basically an attempt to say, this is what America really is like. With
Not
shitty
really.
cities.
It was mostly they're trying
I
to be
don't
like they're
even know.
like
Maybe.
okay, no. This is what happened. They were like, okay, we're gonna make a more grounded Captain America, and they're like, oh, you mean like the one we already have? And they're like, oh shit, you're right. So they're like, okay, okay, what we gotta do? We gotta make him like actually have like 40s America values, and kind of use that as like look at this in like a more realistic light.
You think Captain America would have adapted at that point?
No.
Even back then, like wasn't like the entire idea of like Captain America was like wasn't he like he had like you wanted to show like he had to learn, like I think that's actually not a bad idea that he still had some 50s values and he has to like learn to adapt. That's not a bad idea.
But if you do it too much,
That sounds like a
but to
smart
go
move.
to go like full blown like this
like, too
racist,
much.
sexist asshole. I'm like,
Did too
dude,
much.
I don't like
come
that.
on.
Yeah, like
Oh, you
yeah.
know that thing? Well, it's kind of small, but I was disgusted by Ultimate Ant-Man's outfit.
What does this look like? I don't even remember it.
Red and orange.
I mean, it was red before, but I don't know how many.
No, the red is a killer, but the red and orange he wore, and it was like it looked like he was just wearing.
They did have
big
ugly. They had ugly
onesie.
outfits in general. Oh my
Yes.
god, what is this helmet? Hold up.
You see, you look at it, right? It's just like
let me see this. Let me see this.
yeah,
Where you guys talking
because like
about?
I like
Ultimate
like the one that
Marvel and how weird it was.
It's like a
here's the
jumpsuit
thing.
too.
But like,
on, let
which
me see.
superhero are you talking about?
Well, we're just
man.
Ant-Man in the Ultimate version, and I was like, his suit was ugly because it's just
Yeah.
like one big red and yellow jumpsuit,
Jumpsuit. Yeah, they're all like jumpsuits, like
not even a cool helmet.
You see, like the Ultimate X-Men outfits, where they were just kind of. They actually looked like they had like shirts on, pretty much and stuff. They look more like leather clad, like they'd be like Star Trek characters, more like.
Well, there's one thing I do like that came from the Ultimate, and that was the Ultimate Avenger cartoon movie, which I love today. The first one.
I actually like the only good thing to come out of Ultimate, let's face it, was Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is legendary.
It was good. I think it got worse.
Yeah,
as it went along.
I'm not the biggest fan of Ultimate Spider-Man, but I'd read that over any other Ultimate book. Anyway.
No,
I would definitely say easily. I would take that over
Once it
any
gets to
Ultimate
like
book.
where Gwen Stacy starts like his like she's also a symbiote or she's like a Carnage or something like that. That's where it got stupid. I was like, okay, I'm out for it.
Yeah.
Tells me that
But like
really does
I did like a lot of the ideas in it. I think I think Peter's death was actually kind of hard. It was actually done well.
I never read it because, like I said, I was like way past done with it at that point. But I did have like good 50 issues of good stuff.
From what I know, it's basically Dr. Octopus. He puts Peter Parker into a comatose, and he.
Oh no, that's the 616 death. In the Ultimate death, Peter. I think I still have the comic on me. Peter was fighting Goblin, and the Goblin was just going nuts. He absorbed Human Torch's heat. I don't know how. But anyways, so he's fighting him. And he's fighting him outside his own house. Like Goblin pulled up to Peter's home to attack May, and Torch was there. And then Spider-Man is just wailing on him, picks up a giant diesel truck, slams on the fiery beast, and it blows up point blank in his face, and he dies. That is how Ultimate Spider-Man dies.
He saw the truck full of propane, and he fucking chucks it at fire. Are you serious?
Oh, he doesn't chuck it. He stands over him and just slams it on top of him. Not throw it at him. He's standing over him, angry, fury in his eyes, and he's like, "I'm about to kill this man," which he kind of does. I mean, Goblin died, so.
I mean, it was an effective way. I'll say that.
It was very effective.
It was pretty
cost him
bad.
his life.
I admit it was pretty badass.
It was badass, but then it's just like he also suffered an injury earlier because of something Captain America did, like a bullet wound injury. So he was already not even at 100% fighting Goblin. And Goblin already took out Torch, so Peter was just like, "Damn it!" Just grabbed this giant truck. And was like, "Yeah, I'm about to end this man's career." Boom, And he also did it because Goblin killed Harry, so he was like already angry as it was.
Oh, that
Yeah.
He beat
It was
his son to
crazy.
death. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, okay, that's kind of justifiable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
like
was
so,
cool.
like I fucked with Ultimate Spider-Man. I think I was pretty good overall.
Yeah.
But I didn't like Ultimates. I especially hate what they did with the Hulk. That was the
Ugh.
worst one.
How
Ugh.
bad?
Like they made him like this like really like they really like
They
put it
took the
this way.
monster
They
thing
made
to
they made
100.
they made Hulk into like this super like sexual type thing, and it was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
It really got uncomfortable.
hold on. Like, what exactly do you mean? Because
Hulk,
Like
he
here's
fucked.
like he was basically like, let me put it this way, it was like basically like super tied to his sexual, like, you know, he was basically like one of those guys who was like super insecure about his sexuality and shit like that. So he like banged a ton of women, and he got
A
mad
ton
whenever
of
somebody
women.
called him whenever like someone called him a fag or a pussy boy or something like that. And
Yeah,
it
it's
just
kind of weird.
it was just so many sexual overtones, like insecure about himself. I'm like, nobody needs this from the Hulk.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
say one thing good about the Ultimates though. It was all this stuff was in its own universe. Like if they put like
Yes.
this like
Yeah.
if they did their like that She-Hulk thing or whatever, and that was like the this was just like the Ultimate She-Hulk, I'd be like, oh okay, you guys can have that. We're gonna keep the good one.
But no, they had to do the courtroom shit.
And like that's the
Yeah.
same thing I say with New 52. Like if they would have just did that as their Ultimate Universe, I'd be like, oh, okay, you guys can have
Yeah,
your
because I
universe
am
for
not a
everybody,
fan
where
of
every
52.
yeah, you can have
Yeah,
your universe
like-
for everybody's Batman. That's cool. You guys have that.
You have your own
Yeah,
weird.
like that's one of the reasons I'm not in like I think that's one of the reasons why like comics don't translate well with a lot of people, because you have all these different universes and different story. You know, it's just all
I
over
don't-
the place.
I don't think the different universe thing is really that confusing, really, because I got it right away whenever I was like I said like
Yeah, it's not
I mean,
confusing,
like-
but like
It's like not so much the confusing. It's just like a lot of hard work to get through. You know what I mean?
it is. I think it's tough for people getting into comics to be like, where should I start? Because like if you're like when to start Naruto, you start with Volume 1. You're typically not going to start with like issue 1 of Batman or something like that to get into Batman. You're going to pick a run or something like that.
But like,
Yeah.
do I start on like shit like Ultimate X-Men or something like that, or should I
Yeah.
start with the 19?
I would say if you want the best X-Men experience, I would say start with either 70s Claremont X-Men or go with the 90s X-Men.
Yeah, I will say with X-Men, it's actually pretty easy because they actually do have like those. Most of the places that I think are good places to start, like Proteus or something like that. You can start with Proteus pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like because I think I'll say something kind of unpopular here too. The first like it took Claremont to get into like stride for a while. It took him a little bit. It took them until about whenever they go to space and fight, and they had to go fight. There's like the other team. There's like the old team. They had to go fight them. I feel like that's where it, like actually caught on to where like what it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Were we talking about Avatar at one point?
We were at one
We
point.
were.
Yeah, we got
And then
all
that
the
led to-
X-Men.
Another cartoon, then that led to comics, and then that led to something else.
We
Then led back-
went from Avatar to Teen Titans and then to DC shit in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we stopped by Steven Universe, and then we
Yeah.
came back to comics.
I mean, I have a problem where if you talk about Mecha or DC, you're probably gonna keep me talking.
Oh, no. Now that you all are talking about comics, and I have to spike the question that I have to ask,
Yeah.
how's Captain Marvel doing?
The book.
Like
Uh,
define like, are you like asking like how
Like the
she's
story?
doing? Like,
How bad did the comics get?
I don't
bad.
care. I'm gonna be
bad.
honest. I never liked her. I never liked her
bad.
even when she was.
Nobody
I
likes her.
think like the you know
I know, I
like
mean,
the
like-
one time you like the one time I legitimately liked Captain Marvel.
What?
What?
the Superhero Squad show. Look,
That's a good.
Superhero Squad, hero up.
God.
Yeah, that I agree. 100% agree.
Like it was the one time I liked her, and it's because like she kind of played like the straight man to like
Yeah.
all
Whatever-
the like
all-
the like the
all the
like the like
squaddies.
their antics. Like, so she was like the straight man, shield agent trying to like make sure that they played by the rules. I thought that was a good role for her. She
I never
was
watched
pretty
that
good
one.
at that.
Comic wise, she could go to hell.
Yeah, I never liked her in the comics. Like even like when, like I said, even when she was like in quotation marks good back when she was Miss Marvel, I still think she was a character no one knew what
I
to do
mean,
with.
her new run. I just the things that are happening in that, where
yeah,
she
she, like-
fights this Inhuman villain who is making clones of the Avengers,
Yeah, and she
and
was
she has
just
to
killing them all.
kill those. It's like, how do you kill? First of all, how do you clone Thor? You can't clone a god. That doesn't work that way. You just can't. Ugh.
You think the writer
Dude,
cares?
dude,
I mean,
They
like,
don't care.
he can't inherit his fucking powers if you clone
They-
Thor.
They don't care.
that's
That was-
not
yeah,
that's
that was-
not how cloning works.
It's just
Like
not.
there's like
It's
there's
a
so many
cold
there's
god.
so many there's so many like there's so many wreck like here's the thing, there's so many
Cloning was a mistake
retcons
in
now
one
because like you have like Jason Aaron completely rewriting the rules of Thor in his
Yeah.
Jane Foster run.
Yeah.
And now he basically wrote Jane Foster as Valkyrie, right? But
Yeah, she's Valkyrie now. The
but
last
now he made like a weapon that's totally stronger than Mjolnir,
Why not?
and
Yeah.
it's a sword. And I'm like,
Well-
okay, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, anybody can use Mjolnir. It's
Yeah,
like it's not worth it.
Mjolnir is, you can pick up Mjolnir at the 99-cent store. It's free for everyone to grab. It has no real merit anymore. You could just
I don't
sign
know.
up with a free trial, and
It was all fun
Like,
and games until
Real
he got
quick, I'll say this about Jane Foster. The main thing I didn't like about her is she wasn't like I read the first like 7 issues. The main problem I
Yeah.
had, she wasn't the main character of that. She showed up and did the action
Yeah.
stuff at the end, but the original Thor was still the main character. Him tracking, trying to figure out who was doing that and stuff. She's like, and that's
And
like,
that mystery went on way too fucking long.
yeah, I was like, I got 7 issues in, and I still didn't even get to the mystery. I mean, even like if I didn't know, it still would have been obvious because like every time like you'd go visit Jane Foster and stuff, like it wasn't like he was visiting some other woman. And it's just like, yeah, it's just like it didn't really like it wasn't about like I don't think he understood. You need the downtime is where you actually get to know the character. Like you're not really reading Superman for Superman. You're reading him for dealing with Clark Kent, him going, figuring out like, oh, how am I gonna make Lois love me and stuff like that. Oh, but I gotta do this thing of Superman. Oh, she loves me here. Why does she love me there? I don't know.
stuff
And he's
I
like
mean,
that.
like, yeah.
That's the stuff that people
I mean,
actually
that-
get drawn to.
I mean, like, they've recently made Superman a giant fucking cuck, so I don't even really know, man.
I don't give a shit. Like that's not.
His son is gone. I
don't give a shit
Lois
anymore.
and Lois are not really together. Ugh.
Yeah, like for some reason, like she refuses to tell him what she and John did, and with his granddad on their home
And
planet,
yeah,
and
and
he's like,
other planet.
and I'm like,
doesn't
he's like
care.
cool, and he's like completely cool with it. I'm like, no, I want
Thank
to
you,
know what
Bendis.
you, my son, and my granddad did
Why do you let
on
him
my
go in the
fucking
first
home
place?
planet.
Like,
Yeah,
why
what the fuck happened?
It made no sense. And then, like,
Yeah,
I remember as soon as like he took over, like Bendis took over, John was acting like a little shit too. I'm like, where'd this come from? He was
Yeah.
our good boy. Thank you.
John was acting like a little shit. Lois became like her sassiness levels was multiplied to a new degree, where she just kind of came off like a bee. Like I'm just like, all right.
Because that's how he
To
writes.
Clark.
That's how he writes.
To
That's how
Clark,
he
no
knows
less.
how to write women is Jessica Jones. That's the only thing he knows how to write.
Yep.
And even then, like
Absolutely.
Jessica Jones had her limits. I mean, had limits to like how she was portrayed, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt
The main problem Bendis has is he's trying to people like he tells them he's super good all the time, and then he gets too many books. He does not need this many books.
He doesn't at all. He's writing like
It's
3 stories in DC right now. 4 maybe. I may be missing some, but like keep
how
that
do
one
you
book.
mess? Like, I don't understand how you can mess up. Like, okay, I don't understand how you can mess up Young Justice for me. That's like 4 of my favorite characters right there, and then like it wasn't really about them. It was just like all they would do is just like, hey, remember Young Justice from the '90s? I remember Young Justice from the '90s, and then
Yeah.
then it would just like cut to nothing happening, and then also just like walked up and like once they got together at the end, they just instantly beat the bad guy. It was
Yeah,
so
just
bad.
like guys. So since we all met up at this convenient time, there's also a bad guy problem we need to solve.
Actually, rephrase that. Impulse just did did a speed thing and then saved the day. That's actually what happened.
Don't go back to Earth.
Honestly, I one of the biggest problems with modern comics is we just don't have awesome badass villains just fucking shit up anymore. We have the heroes fighting each other way too
many
often.
heroes versus heroes in Marvel. I've had it since Civil War 1. Yes, even all the way back then. I'm like, can the heroes stop fighting each other? Can I see the villains fuck shit up? And if the villains aren't fucking shit up, you got the Skrulls now are just pussy ass. We're just looking for a new home. You got half of Marvel villains are either good now or semi
What happened
good.
with that?
Yeah,
Why
like Doctor Doom and Octavius are, especially Octavius. I don't know what the heck they were doing there.
Doctor Doom lost a fight to Kingpin. I was like, what?
What? How?
He lost
the
I don't know.
You mean
I don't know.
Like, how do you lose a fight to? Wait,
find
you're
it.
telling me Doctor Doom, the guy who is quite possibly
One of the strongest villains.
Yeah, one of the strongest villains in the entire Marvel universe. One like legit like. How do you get beaten by Kingpin?
Okay.
I'm not dissing Kingpin or anything, but seriously?
That's so fucking
I think
stupid.
I found it. Let me see if I can find what source it was from. Like, in the end of the fight, he drove Dr. Doom off a building. If you were really as powerful as you claim, I'd already be destroyed, he says. Doom is punching him, but Kingpin's barely flinching. But here I still stand while you try to run. Never make a man kneel before you unless you're sure you can keep him down. He's saying this to Doom while just eating all his attacks. Then he throws him off a roof. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like the guy who's literally both a wizard and a mad scientist would do more than just punch him a fucking.
Doesn't fucking Doom have like rocket boots at some points?
Yeah. There's a lot of things he has. He could also just throw a bunch of mechs at him. There's a bunch of things he could do.
He could blow him up.
I can understand.
In the panel I'm looking at, he blasts him. He full frontal blast him, and Kingpin is just with burnt marks on his body. Like, is that all you got?
Kingpin is super tough, but he's not invincible.
Yeah, he's not superhuman. Actually,
he's not the Blob.
He's just a big I think someone thought. Yeah, someone thought he was.
They write him like he's the Blob sometimes. They really do write him like he's the Blob. No.
Yeah, even Spider-Man PS4 kind of exaggerated him a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
That's like a boss. That's like a boss fight in a video game.
They did it for
gameplay sake. It works for the game. It works for the game.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I'm not saying it was bad.
Yeah, my philosophy of video games is you can sacrifice a lot for as long as the gameplay is fun. That's the main thing that matters in the video game.
I like Spider-Man PS4. The only thing I didn't like about it was like the MJ and that's about it.
The Spider-Verse, that exaggerated.
Those MJ segments seem like they were ass. I don't have PS4, but those segments.
To be fair, Spider-Verse Kingpin is just a box.
No, he's not a box. He's a
big
wall.
Box. A wall, a big wall.
He's a
wall with
wall.
a
He's
face.
a walking wall.
I love
He's
this.
William Wallace. He's not Wilson Fisk. He's William Wallace. He's William Wallace.
It makes you wonder how he even got in that train fight. Like, how you fit in the train, man? You're so wide.
How do you move your arms? How do you like fight? How do you
get into the bathroom, Kingpin?
How does he the bathroom stalls is too wide for.
Hey,
private bathroom.
speaking, Spider-Verse was such a good movie, man.
It's
But,
a good movie, but I hear
I
the
love it.
comics are very, very stupid.
No,
Oh
the comics
yeah.
better than don't
Well, I
touch
couldn't
those.
imagine that being drawn out for a long time.
I,
for as long
I hate Spider-Verse in the comics. I hate Spider-Verse in total now. I completely hate it. I hate it. But I
Here's
will
the
watch
thing.
the movie because the movie's good.
I'm going to
Comics,
I'm
I
I'm
can't
going
stand.
I get a lot of hate when I say this, and I don't care, and I really and I don't often say it because I know I'm gonna get backlash for saying it. I think Into the Spider-Verse is a good movie, great movie, best movie of
Yep.
2018, easy.
One of my favorites.
But honest to God, I think it's a bit overrated.
Yes.
if you're going based on Twitter, it's usually either like overhyped. It's usually way too overhyped. I'll say I liked Isle of Dogs more. Like I think that was better. In
Like,
a movie
I
than
don't know.
Here's
Did Isle of Dogs come out the same year?
yes.
Yeah, it did.
what came out the same year? Say it again.
Isle of Dogs.
It was definitely a good year for Pixar to lose. I'll say that for sure.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh,
did they
yeah.
have Toy Story 4 or Wreck-It Ralph 2? Well,
They had
Isle of
Wreck-It
Dogs.
Ralph. That was the Disney had Wreck-It Ralph too. They actually, I saw some picture online where they had a display where they like had like kind of like an award. There's like they had like an award thing for it. They're like, oh, we
they
didn't
already
win.
had it planned out, and they fucking got snubbed so hard. Oh my god!
Like-
Let me tell you, Rainbow
I mean,
Squid
Wreck-It-
broke down Wreck-It Ralph 2 for me, and I loved the first movie a lot, and I
I
fucking
love the first movie.
was
Yeah,
in so much recoil hearing
the second Wreck-It Ralph, I consider like Wreck-It Ralph 2 was a slap in the face of the first movie.
Slapping face.
If
I
you
didn't
fucking watch it.
if you like the first movie, you will hate the second one.
From
Both
what I
main
gather,
characters
Ralph
just
is a
aren't
fat
the same
retard,
people.
and Penelope is a little bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I was
like-
like, they already lost with the princess thing. Like they had like the internet, and they just like, oh, let's go Disney princesses, yay!
Disney, we gotta promote our brands. We must
I was
must show people our fear. We
See-
are the monopoly.
It's-
Bow
here's
to
the
us
thing.
and our mega corporation.
See, here's the thing that pissed me off is like, if you want Ralph to go online, then that's a perfect idea. Have him show up in a match of Halo 2. That's something I want
Exactly.
to fucking see.
Exactly.
You know what's
Yeah.
weird?
Not a fucking Facebook
You know what's weird?
page.
This movie missed the opportunity to have like Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. I just thought about that. Like, this is still a Disney movie. You think those
Exactly.
two?
There's
Those three
better
made
things
some
they've done.
Like I'm still waiting. Like I'm still waiting for a direct Kingdom Hearts reference from Disney. When they do
Right.
that, I will die. I can die happy. But until then,
These Disney Pixar sequels, they've just been very lackluster. I remember seeing Incredibles 2 in theaters with my friends, and I'm just like, That was
mean,
something.
I did not like Incredibles 2.
It
I
was
thought
liked it.
Incredibles
just
2.
felt,
Incredibles 2.
ooh, we reversed the roles. Now it's
Yeah.
her doing the heroics.
I liked it.
While being a
I
hypocrite.
like it, but I like it more than what
It-
than I think it's good.
It
I'll put it
looks
that way.
it looks so generic, man.
It is generic. It really
Yeah,
is.
like honest to God, like the biggest problem with Incredibles 2 is like I think the biggest problem is that A, there's a lot of retreading, and
A
B,
lot.
it did not need to be an immediate sequel. This needed to take place
didn't.
years.
Oh yeah,
After
especially
the
they
first one.
they sound way older. I definitely agree
Yeah,
there.
not even that, but like think about it. Like
The way it doesn't flow well. Like if you were to watch the first movie and then hop into the second, it doesn't feel like a continuation.
From
At
what I
it
all.
know,
feels like oh yeah, it feels like we're just giving you another incredible, or just feels like
Yeah.
we're giving you more of the Incredibles instead of another incredible story.
See,
If that
that's
makes
why
any
I
sense.
describe it as I like the movie more than I think it's good. I just like being in that world. I like that. I like
Yeah,
the
like-
whole like they got the whole it feels like it's like in the 60s and stuff. I like that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
like,
can see
here's-
that. It's
Like here's the thing, like I made a fan fiction. Yeah, I know, make fun of me because I made fan fiction. But like when I was 15,
Yeah.
I actually made a fan fiction about what would happen if
Hmm.
if like basically like there's like an initiative going around to bring back superheroes, and like
Yeah.
instead of and this time around, Violet is the main character, and she's like in college, and she's wondering what does she want to do. Does she want to just pursue to become like a normal person and like pursue going into college and leading a normal life, or does she want to live up to her parents' legacy and become a superhero?
Yeah.
And then we have Dash, who is dealing with his identity as a superhero because he's starting to see himself as superior to normal people, and he starts getting into trouble and starts acting like a delinquent anti-hero.
I can see that. 'cause
And-
he was
and
he was
that's-
slowly there.
Yeah, it's a
Using the
pump.
power for his own gain.
But you gotta
Yeah,
you gotta
like-
give it to the second movie where it had a really great platform where he. Yeah, he was there.
Did Dash do anything in the second movie?
He did math.
Uh,
Okay, he did math.
He did math. Yeah, he did math.
Math is math, motherfucker.
Math is math.
Did Jack do anything?
Like,
Jack,
like,
he
Jack had way too much.
oh
he
my
did-
god.
he fought a
he had
raccoon.
too much screen time.
He-
Yeah, he had way
fought a
too much
raccoon for,
screen
like,
time.
6 whole minutes straight. Like, he fought a whole raccoon for 6 minutes straight. Now that I think about it.
I like
That-
that scene.
yeah,
I think
like-
they should have dropped. They should have dunked some other scenes from that are in there.
Like,
though.
I think
Yeah.
I think the thing is like the first movie was so good because it's one of those films that you love as a child, but you can
Yeah.
appreciate as an adult because it really is a dark and actually pretty complex film. And
First,
that's what
uh,
makes it so
Pixar
good.
movie.
Visual
people
really made the
actually
film. Oh,
Like,
what a
they
good
killed a lot of
villain
people in
too.
the
With
movie.
a see,
Like,
that's the
like,
thing. The
like
villain,
Syndrome
He-
was such a good villain.
he was
the
nuts.
perfect villain for that movie, and Jason Lee killed it. Jason Lee fucking killed it.
Right? Compare
He's
that
like the
to
deranged
the
fanboy.
sister who was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, my daddy died, and
It-
now I don't like
that
heroes,
was so
I don't
fucking
want them
stupid.
to be legalized." I was like, "That doesn't
It-
make any sense."
Okay, here's the way I describe it. It
So-
reminds me the plot reminds me like one of those Disney movies that back in the day, like
Yeah.
Aladdin 2, where it was a backdoor pilot for a
Oh my god!
TV series. That's really what it felt like. It felt like this is that was a
Not
setup.
even that. Like here's what happened. Here's what happened. This is what actually happened in the plot of the movie. The reason she doesn't like superheroes is because her dad got like there was a robbery and her dad was in the middle of the robbery in front of the robbers and decided to try to call the superheroes,
Yeah,
but they didn't show
instead
up.
of
But they didn't show,
going,
the police, or hiding and calling the police, or having a fucking gun, which
he
would
was
be
so in
nice.
love with heroes. He immediately
was
went
so-
to call for help.
You can't say
How
guns
do you,
an option
how
in
do
those
you call a
movies.
superhero?
But
How
no,
do
but the
you
thing is,
call
he
a
gets shot
super-
by a gun, and they show it. They show him getting shot with a gun. You see the gun, you hear boom. I'm surprised they actually showed the whole gun, the bullet, and the smoke. They ain't show him getting shot, but you know what happens after he got shot, and it's just
They'll
like,
show
bruh.
guns in the movie, like when
But
movie.
like, here's the thing. Like, I'm just like, so the fact that these two robbers came and superhero and like this would have happened if he tried to call the police too, because they ain't gonna show. Like, they're gonna
they're there.
immediately show up, and I'm like, nothing. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. It's really, really stupid.
Because they're like, honey, let's hide in the safe house. He was like, nah, fam, I gotta call Superman. He'll save my life. and he got shot.
Dude. I know Superman. Just hear me out. I'm like, nigga.
I like things about her though. I'll say I like though. There's a lot of cool scenes with that. Like the scene where Elastigirl's fighting in the cage, and there's all the
Oh no,
that
that
scene
was
was-
a good scene.
that was a
I
better
like the way
fight
it was
scene in the
filmed.
end.
I
was
like
better
the way
one
how
at the end.
how it leads to a chase through the whole building. I was like, this is nice. This is well done.
That part, yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I think like there's like two action scenes that are better than the last one. I'll say that. That's like one thing. It ends on just like a nothing.
Incredibles, in my opinion, is one of the greatest superhero films ever made.
Yeah, I think so too.
I believe
It
that.
is one of the legit greatest superhero films ever made. And to this day, like, I don't think it's ever. It's basically, once you think about it, it's kind of like a G-rate, like a PG-rated Watchmen in a way.
A lot of ways, yeah.
Kinda,
Yeah, like a PG-rated Watchmen. But I really like The Incredibles. I thought Incredibles 2 was a step back because there was so much potential, to do some stuff, but they didn't. It was just going back to The Incredibles.
I don't know. You can say it
Wreck-It
didn't ruin anything, though. It didn't ruin anything, though.
Yeah,
You
it
gotta-
didn't ruin
It didn't ruin
anything.
any character. It didn't ruin any like developed
just didn't-
story element. It's just
It was
there.
like
Didn't move the ball forward. It didn't move the ball forward.
there.
Like,
yeah,
It's just there.
it's a flash in the pan. Wreck-It Ralph 2 was like burning down the fucking house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good. I wouldn't even call it a flash in the pan. It's just like,
It-
somebody didn't wash out the pan, so your eggs are a little brown and black, but you'll survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, you
It's
live.
like you get a
uh-oh.
DLC campaign to the main story, and you're like, oh, that was just kind of a little bit more things. But at least I was there, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's
like,
just-
like I
it's
said,
okay.
I describe
It's
it
like when
as
you're really
I
hungry
wanted to be in that
gas
world a
station
bit more.
pizza's the closest
I got to be
thing.
in that world a bit more.
Yeah, like it's definitely not bad. It's just not great either. It's underwhelming. That's the best
Yeah.
word for it. Underwhelming.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Pixar now.
Especially for like a movie that's like, again, like one of the greatest superhero films ever made.
Yeah. Oh man, Pixar's just not catching a break lately because fucking
I
Onward.
mean, that's because Disney is like, you got to make those sequels, or
Yeah.
I'll with you. Get back to work, slave.
But, like,
Just like the rest of my
Cars,
properties.
Cars 3, everybody fucking hated 2. Everyone hated 1.
I hate it, dude. Yeah. First
No,
of all,
no,
I'll never
I
forget the
actually-
day.
Like, I like 1, but everybody else hated it.
I didn't like it.
I
It's
think
alright.
like
It's fine.
I thought one was fine. I thought
But
Cars 2 was
two
I-
is
yeah, like,
just
I thought-
stupid.
yeah, 2 was just stupid. It wasn't even bad. It was just stupid.
Five?
It's just-
I used
You
to
can
like
kill
it.
people by heating up the oil in their bodies, huh? Murder.
and they like
Why is
take
it
it
murder?
so seriously too.
Yes.
The Spice Up is played completely straight, and I'm like,
They kill a car. Like, I know this is a kid
they
film, and I know they're
kill
not people, but
cars, and like
that man died. He blew up. Like, oh my goodness.
I'm
They
like,
fully showed a car
holy-
exploding.
Like, they went from
they showed-
Lightning
they showed
McQueen
a car-
learning to not be a hotshot to,
Yeah.
hey, we're murdering people. We got missiles, bullets. You ready to die, bro?
That was weird to me, like,
invaders like fucking seeing people like turn to cubes and shit. I'm like, whoa.
Why
Where
was
the
it a spy
fuck
plot?
did
I
this
never
come
did get
from?
that. Why was it a spy plot? Who thought that was
I
like?
don't
I
know.
think-
I
think-
think someone watched James Bond and got high and said, "Let's make it out of the fucking car."
Probably. They're like, who cares?
I
Let's just-
in their
let's
own
just script this
car
out.
with the Cars 1 script. Just like, whoa, token it up. Like, bro.
And Disney was probably like, great, we got some more merchandise. Great.
I mean,
But,
I'll
like,
give 3 this.
once you-
They actually had something car related with the Derby and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I can never
Cars,
forget the first trailer for
Cars
Part 3.
1, Cars 1, in my opinion, was pretty good. I think people overhate it because, again, it's Pixar and it's the first movie. They were like,
And
well,
it's very
this
childish.
is- yeah, it's very childish. It's
Which
very
is okay, because,
but,
you know, it's
but
a
at
kid
the,
movie.
but at the end,
It's a
but
kid
at the end of the day, I think people expected more from Pixar. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day,
it was
it was fine for what it is. You know,
It's a harmless
It was
kids
the
movie.
first-
It does.
yeah.
It did its job to entertain children.
it
think
was
the
the
biggest-
first one after that. Like they had a whole game plan that led from Toy Story up to Wally, or was it
Yeah.
Up? No, it's up to Wally, and that's
Yeah.
like that was like
Yeah,
where it
'cause
started to
Up
like
was.
go.
Up,
Yeah,
up.
it was. Yeah,
I
right.
fucking loved Up,
Up,
but
Up
Up,
was a good movie.
I
like,
agree.
Up,
I agree
in
with
my
Matthew.
opinion. Again, this
Good
is gonna
movie.
this is gonna be like very controversial. I think Up is a bit overrated too.
No, the first 15 minutes are like
Yeah, you're not
amazing,
wrong. Because
and
see, the
then-
first 15 minutes is what everyone brings up when they bring up Power
yeah,
Rangers.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm
most
saying.
people don't really-
The rest of it's just okay.
Yeah, the rest of
feel
it is
like-
just okay.
Yeah, it's like it's okay.
ending
It's not
was
bad.
okay.
It's not bad, guys. I'm
It's
not
not.
saying this
bad.
movie's
No,
bad.
You
I'm
know.
just saying, like, the first 15 minutes is pretty much what everyone remembers the
Exactly.
Yeah.
most.
Everyone remembers.
We know this.
Everyone talks
And
about.
as soon as the
Oh,
fat
my
Boy
heart
Scout
and
comes
soul.
in, people fade out.
and
But
I actually like Russell too. I don't hate Russell either. I think he's funny.
I don't hate Russell.
Nah, it's just I just think that like if you just put the first part of the short, you'd be like, oh man, that's powerful. And that's just
Yeah.
like I think it should have been a short.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know when it
But like,
comes to
here's the thing
film-
though. I did like the part where like he finds her old book, and then like it shows like what I'm gonna do, and then like showed like my adventures, and he's thinking like, oh my god, she never actually got to go on this adventure. I feel so guilty. And then it shows that it was just her and him living their life together. I almost cried because that was beautiful.
It was.
I
beautiful.
thought that was. I thought overall the fact. I think like Fredrickson's arc in the movie coming to the realization of letting go was a really good arc, and I think that like that payoff at the end where he's like, you know, where it said, "Hey, thanks for the adventure. Now go have a new one." I really like that. I really like I think like those two parts, like the first 15 minutes and then like the part where it gets resolved and he's like, "Yeah, I need to let her go because I did love her and I did give her an
That's a
adventure."
good point.
And yeah, it really, like I said, not a bad movie. I just think it's a little over, you know, it wasn't like perfect
kinda
from
feels-
beginning to end.
it's like they stretched out a 15-minute short, but they did a good job stretching it out.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're pretty good. They
that's
did
what
it. They
yeah.
made it
Yeah.
happen.
If I can say this, that's not my favorite Pixar movie. My favorite Pixar movie was Ratatouille.
Really?
I
Ratatouille.
fucking-
My favorite
fine.
movie is still The Incredibles, but I like Ratatouille too. The only
Like-
part about Ratatouille that made me raise my eyebrows was that Remy was kind of a douche.
yeah, but like he's voiced by Patton Oswalt. Of course, he's gonna be a douche.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing for me when I watch that movie is knowing it's fucking Patton.
Yeah, but like he's kind of a hypocrite because he's like, "Oh my god, why are we stealing garbage?" And like his dad has a legit point. Nigga, you can't steal garbage.
Exactly.
You better shut up and fucking eat this.
I think my favorite Pixar movie to this day is still Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo will always be in my heart.
Finding Nemo is a fucking classic. It
I-
really is.
I will admit, Finding Nemo did kind of scare me as a kid because of going. To the
Oh, it scared me
fucking
too.
water.
It's weird. I was scared of a lot of things as a kid. Oh boy. But now, you know,
That
I don't scare easily.
opening scene as a kid, Jesus Christ.
No, the
That-
fucking
that-
Angler. That Jesus Christ! I fucking
the way
hate
it's
that.
set up too, like Marvin sees it, it's not moving, it's looking at them, and it's just waiting to attack him. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like a dog. Dogs
Yeah.
don't attack you unless you start running. Unless you
Oh,
start
yeah.
running, a dog won't attack you. So you're just
Exactly.
sitting there like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? He's like, the kids are gonna be fine. Get in the house now, slowly. And she's like, nah, I'm going for the kids. And they're like, oh, and then like Marvin tries to fight it off, and then he's knocked out, and then he wakes up, his wife,
horrible.
everything's gone. I'm like, Jesus,
That hurts.
damn.
Yeah.
That's
Only
when you
One
know
head.
a movie had balls. A
Yeah.
movie
Balls.
had balls to start
Come on.
like that. That's when you know a movie has balls. And
You
I
know,
also
funny.
like how.
Oh, no, continue.
No, you go ahead.
Oh no, God, I don't want to change something too fully. That's why I was like, I was going to bring up a different point, but go ahead.
But I was like, I also like how the movie like didn't do it from a very because they could have clearly done it from a one-sided point of view and said, you know, Marvin was right. Nemo wasn't ready. He was totally in the wrong. You should listen to your parents. But then they also put it on Marvin and shows that Marvin does need to understand that there are some things that are out of his control, and he does need to let go of Nemo to a degree.
Yeah.
He needs to let his kid be free and make his own decisions and choices and stuff like that. And I really like that. That's something like I like it when movies don't do traditional lessons, because it's kind of the reasons I like Wreck-It Ralph so much. The entire point of Wreck-It Ralph was like, sometimes you just gotta deal with the hand you're dealt.
Yep.
Sometimes life is gonna fucking suck. You can't do anything about it, but you have responsibilities. You have people you're looking after, and sometimes that's just your lot in life. But you know what? You don't have to mope around and take it. You can cope with what life gives you, and you can actually find happiness in it, because they don't just make all the villagers, like the apartment dwellers, hate Ralph. It's just that Ralph is so passive aggressive and expects everybody to like him, and
he's also the bad guy, so that role is in the movie
he just kind of expects everybody to like him and expects them to make the effort to make his life better, feel better about himself, to validate himself, when in reality he should be doing it himself. That's actually a very grown up thing to tell kids.
Yeah. You know, it's a funny thing too.
I like that message,
because on the point I was going to bring up is I don't know, have you guys when it comes to movies, have you guys seen many of the Laika films?
The Laika?
I actually really haven't. They keep being movies I mean to watch and never do.
Because I watched almost all of them, right?
That's
I love how in the Laika films, they like you said with Wreck-It Ralph, they don't really hit you with too easy surface level of a moral story. No. And one movie I liked was Kubo and the Two Strings. That came out in 2016, where I don't know if I want to get any big spoilers, but the big bad of the movie, you know, he's an asshole, and he's made this kid's life an absolute living goddamn hell. And it looks like they're going to plan a redemption for the character in a way, but the redemption doesn't come out of like you see it with modern cartoons where it's just like, hey bro, I know you did something bad, but we cool now, something like that. It comes out of the main character having compassion for this villain, and also the villain went with a full memory wipe. So it was like, we're just gonna let him rock for a bit. I'm leaving a lot out context wise because I don't want to spoil it. But
seen Kubo, but I do know one of the points is that the monkey is his. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil, but he's related to the monkey.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, to be fair, it's really obvious who the beetle and the monkey are from the beginning.
Yeah,
it's really obvious.
It's a very obvious film, but I still hold a lot.
Twists aren't a necessary thing. I'll give it a watch at some point. I've been meaning to.
But I can't say my favorite.
I sat through half of it. I couldn't get. I never got a chance to finish it.
I can't say my favorite Laika movie is Paranorman. That fucking movie.
Oh, okay, so that was what they said.
That movie is awesome. That movie,
I love it.
Awesome.
I've seen that movie at least 3 times over. Just
man, I really like
when he talks to that little girl by the tree, and she tells him what happened. That was just. I
actually like how they handle the gay character in the movie. The whole movie, the
funniest joke in the film.
Yeah, that was great.
Best joke in the film. Wow, I gotta tell my boyfriend about this. I never laughed so hard in my life. Her face, her reaction.
Oh my god, yeah. I was like, oh my god, thank you. That was a perfect way to end that.
Oh my god.
He did not win.
I was so confused what happened there, and then I learned what being gay means.
Hey,
not even kidding.
Yeah. Guys.
Yeah.
The big gay is a gateway to many abilities. Some might consider unnatural.
It's true.
But can I ask a question?
Sure. Yeah.
Is Coraline considered one of those movies, or is that
Yes.
coming?
It was one of the first.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like that one a lot.
I watched Coraline
Coraline is one of my favorite films ever made.
I will say I still haven't seen it. Ooh, to this day, every week I go, I gotta watch Coraline, and I
Dude,
still haven't seen
watch
That's
it.
how Kubo.
I've seen
It is
Missing Link,
legit.
Kubo, Paranorman, Box Trolls.
I've
Actually, no, I did not see Box Trolls.
like
Box
it's like
Trolls sucked. I think Box
I
Trolls
know.
sucked.
Tim Burton.
Yeah,
wasn't-
I avoid Box Trolls, but Caroline, I need to watch it because I just
Caroline is Coraline, fuck you. Coraline, it's done by one of my favorite. It's adapted from one of my favorite writers of all time, and that's Neil Gaiman. And he's like Tim Burton. He's just so twisted and dark, but like very wondrous in time. And I love him. I love Neil Gaiman.
I mean, that is
But,
funny though, because it's the first movie Leica did on their own after they did The Corpse Bride, which was Tim Burton movie that they did for him. They did it for Tim Burton, and then they started their own company.
I like Corpse Bride too. I think like Corpse Bride would work better if they didn't have like the traditional bad guy and focused only on the love triangle. The one time
that
we're
bad guy was
focusing on the
Yeah,
like I
they did
think
that,
the
you're
one
right.
time like focusing on the love triangle would have actually benefited the story.
Oh, it would have, because the main thing that made it weird was like she was always like vengeful or whatever, and she never could get past that, and she still the thing ended with her being vengeful. Still, she didn't learn anything.
Yeah,
like she was basically like saying, she basically said, I don't want to take away your dream. I don't want to take away your man because I lost my love. And I'm like, that would have been really interesting if, like we saw her and Victor and Victoria kind of develop over time. But like, it's not done. Like I said, if they got rid of that and actually focused on the love triangle, I think the film would have been stronger.
Yeah.
But like anyway, like I said, Coraline is like one of my in my top 10 favorite films of all time. I love that movie.
Yeah, I definitely gotta give it a watch.
Yeah, it is a really good movie. Another movie that I love that's like my favorite Tim Burton movie, and another top 10 is I think who look chat I think Hatchet left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had to go.
Might wrap up here in about 20 minutes myself.
Yeah, it's getting late. But like we might wrap up like young guys like 10-15 minutes, and we'll call it a night.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
But like the thing about Coraline, hang on, let me see the chat real quick. Hold on.
Yo, I went out by accident. Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, I had to say he was out by accident.
Oh, hang on, let me get him back in.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I hit a Newgrounds tab on my computer. And there goes Bags. God damn it.
Hang on. Now Bags is gone. Okay. I think he'll. Whatever.
Mug's gone.
But like, I think like overall. Hang on. I think. Yeah, Bags back. Back. Here we go.
Hi, Bags.
Sorry. Stupid phone.
One goes
Okay.
in, one goes out.
Okay. Anyone else need to go? Anyone need to go? We're only gonna stay here for like 10, 15 more minutes, and then we're all
Yeah,
gonna
it's like
head
10
out.
15 minutes anyways.
But like my favorite Tim Burton movie is probably Sweeney Todd.
I never seen Sweeney Todd.
You never seen Sweeney Todd?
That's a good one.
No.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fun
It's got an amazing soundtrack. This
It does.
is Danny Elfman at his best.
See,
Hey.
my thing with Tim Burton is that in his prime, he was fucking great, but now he's just like, he does this shitty live action shit for Disney now, and it's just
Alice in
infuriating.
Wonderland.
And
Yeah,
Dumbo, and all
Dumbo
that.
and
Dumbo.
Oh my god, why do you work for Disney?
that
Ah.
Sure.
Because
It's probably
Disney
just-
has them on the balls because Nightmare on Christmas is a fucking massive thing.
I think like, oh, okay. Well,
They didn't believe him
Smug.
back in the day either.
Wait a minute. Smug's coming back because internet cut out.
In and out. In and out.
Hey, Smug.
Hey, yeah, my internet just cut out. So, what were you guys talking about?
We're talking about Tim Burton now.
Tim Burton.
Yeah,
Oh.
my favorite's Beetlejuice, by the way. I
Makes
love that
sense.
one.
Beetlejuice.
That's a setting I just love.
Mine's it's kind of hard, but Sleepy Hollow. I really love the Headless Horseman. Like
I haven't
whole
seen that one
story,
forever.
you know what I mean? Sleepy Hollow was always one of my favorite films to watch as a kid to this day.
I like
Like-
the Disney version of Sleepy Hollow. I still
Oh,
hold that one as the best one.
I love a lot of Sleepy Hollow stuff, except for that ABC show. That was weird.
That one was dumb. They like turned into like a. They basically turned into like one of those like the CW Flash shows. Like those
Yeah,
type of, it's in that. It was in that mold.
Like
I avoided it.
Lucifer and all that shit.
You know what I don't like to see with my Headless Horseman? A Headless Horseman with a machine gun.
Yeah. Like,
How you gonna shoot me with no head, bro? What are you aiming at?
It felt like a fake ID. Like it'd be in a that show seemed like that'd be like a fake commercial in a TV show.
Yeah.
Like,
it just
Sleepy
didn't feel real.
Hollow, and then they're just coming in with a machine gun the horse.
With a machine gun on the horse, like what?
And
I'll
now
stick
he's
to
a
the Disney
dreamy.
and Tim Burton one.
He's a dreamy guy in modern day society with a girl detective. What can happen? Ooh, I don't know.
Stupid. Feels like a lost episode of Once Upon a Time.
Oh my god, that was like a worse version of Fables. Why did that exist?
I don't know.
I don't know that show, but wasn't there? That show sounds
Um,
familiar. Isn't it like
It's the one where
It's
fairy
like-
tales
it's
come
like
to
it's
life.
like where fairy tales are like in modern times
Yeah,
or
like
shit
they
like
came
that.
to our world.
they ripped off Fables. I believe that in my
Hardcore.
heart.
Yeah.
I mean,
When they
except,
put
except
Elsa in it,
Fables,
Like, no, you lost me. They put Elsa.
I hate Frozen. I hate Frozen. I hate
I hate it,
I
yeah.
had no love for it. I had no love for it. Never did.
Frozen.
I won't lie though. When it came out and I was already hating the movie, I was like, all right, that song does slap, whatever the hell it was.
It just
at the
got
time.
worse the more you think about it, because like I think I really feel like the soundtrack was made with temp music in mind, because like that's Let It Go sounds like fireworks. That one song is like
That one song that just gets you singing along somehow is like a.
it's got the same kind of art going like that.
You know something. You know something.
And
You know something weird?
Yeah.
I never found that song catchy.
I thought it was
I mean,
catchy.
that's
never
not
got
weird.
stuck in my
That's
head.
fine.
I thought it was catchy, but it's not like that's the same thing as liking it. I'll say that.
Yeah.
The only reason I found it catchy is because my two nieces came over at right the fucking time when Frozen was at its peak, and I had to be fucking tortured with that shit.
Had to live with it. You had to live with it.
Yes, they came over for a week.
Dude, I have two younger sisters. That
Oh,
shit
boy.
was playing 24/7.
How
Oh,
how'd
boy.
they take Frozen 2, Slum?
They are at the age where I think they probably see like something like that as like kiddie stuff because they're like
Yeah.
10 and like 8
That's-
now.
I mean,
So I think
Why
Yeah.
the
They want
sequel
to
to
be
that made no
mature.
sense? Like because like all the kids that grew up with that aren't in that
Right,
age
they don't
group
care
anymore. Girls do that way faster than guys. Like guys will at least be like, oh, I like Transformers. Like when I was like 8, I'll probably
Guys
like
will
it at
still be
12.
hype over the same Transformer movie they saw in the theater 10 years ago.
guys
Like,
don't
whoa,
have-
that fight was awesome.
guys don't
I
have
agree.
standards. We don't have standards,
Yeah.
guys.
Like we're like, oh, like I think it does happen, like to some extent. You're like I'm too old for this. Like and then I'll come back to it, like 10 years later. I'm like, heh, I don't give a shit. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, here I am still marathoning all of Power Rangers. I'm just like enjoying it.
See, you'll go through those phases, like where you're like, oh, this stuff that's like you'll go through like little phases where you're just like, because I went through that like again, like late 20s, and I was like, now I'm just like back to it. I'm like, I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, this is still
Yeah,
cool
man,
now.
I don't have anything else going for me. So what's the fucking point, man? Let's just fucking
Right.
do whatever.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
still, I just watch. I'm just like, this is fun. Still, I don't care. We have to stay.
This is the perk
exactly.
of having a
Like-
corporation make one of your favorite movies and it not be it bombing in the box office, because I'm never going to see a shitty half-ass Meet the Robinsons sequel, and I'm actually happy about that.
Yes,
Oh,
amen.
yeah.
Amen. That is true.
Like Meet the Robinsons was so weird because like the thing I liked about I liked Meet the Robinsons,
Yeah.
but it was like, how do I put this? I think the most interesting part about Meet the Robinsons was the parts they don't really focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely.
Yeah, I think
I was gonna say,
if you just focused on the family, like the actual family,
Yeah.
that would actually be a much better movie.
I don't
They
know.
do-
Like I could have seen like I think the movie is kind of fine. The main thing that always messes up is like, just all the time travel stuff. Just kind of gets stupid.
My,
And then-
my
Yeah.
issue is that it focused more on the process to getting to the family and the process
Yeah.
of getting them back rather than
Yeah.
staying with the family. And that's not me saying the movie's bad. I fucking love everything.
I do love that movie.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I really want to see more of a lot of the family members, like the guy who had the pizza chef, or the fat dude that was never moved.
I
an
miss,
inch.
I,
You know
I
what was
miss,
cool about that
I miss
movie?
Adam.
What?
They actually hired voice actors and stuff for that movie. Like, they had like
Yeah, like they got Adam West.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
they actually people were seasoned at this at this like thing. They got like big name people, I feel like, but they got like they got Shigo to be the mom, and that was great.
See, and my
Fair
favorite
name
thing
is-
about it. My favorite thing about it all is that it throws so many ideas to the wall, and they all stick.
Yeah.
They all
Yeah.
stick, and I love that.
It was
Yeah.
But,
it
like,
had
is-
it had good
like, it's-
snappy humor.
Exactly.
Here's how I put it. All the ideas stuck to the wall. It's just that the wall itself wasn't secure, so the wall kind of fell over a bit.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
We had 50s future aesthetics. That's like that's the that clues don't count.
Nah, here's a better analogy. It all gets stuck to the wall. It just so happens to be stuck for 5 seconds, so they threw another thing at it, and that stuck for 5 seconds, and so on.
Here's the thing. If this was like a cartoon show, I think like it would work a lot better.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can
yeah.
see that. Or like
Yeah.
they went to the future and the past like every day. It's like, oh, what are we gonna do today? We're gonna do this thing, and they got the one guy just over
I
there
think,
hating
like,
on them.
I think like honestly, like if it's just if you just made a show, about if you just made a show about the family with like maybe Wilbur as the main character, like a spin-off or something like that,
Yeah.
I think it would have been I think I would watch that. I would honestly watch that.
Honest
Just
to
like
God,
what they did with just like what they did with like they tried to do with Atlantis. They tried to make it like a show where
Never
they
did- there was a
were
TV
like
show?
and it was like they tried to make it a TV show. Like the sequel to Atlantis was basically 3 TV pilots put into one. And like and the thing that made it awesome was that like it was basically like them going on adventures and figuring out that every like major myth, monster, and whatever had ties to Atlantis somehow. So you had like Odin and Egyptian and all these other mythologies and monsters are all tied to Atlantis. I'm thinking that's
kinda,
actually a really cool idea.
I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. Like, why is it all tied to Atlantis?
Because like remember they said in the original in the movie like everything like Atlantis was like the first civilization.
Oh,
So like everything
yeah,
is
it is.
technically tied to Atlantis. And I'm
100%.
thinking that's actually a pretty cool idea. Kind of like tied to the whole Indiana Jones motif anyway that they had in the first movie. So I'm thinking, okay, it's actually not that bad of an idea. So like they made it like a show or something. I would watch it. Honestly, I would watch that.
I
Yeah.
did.
I didn't know
pretty
that. You said there
I'm
wasn't
totally-
a show? There was a show?
Yeah.
No,
like,
it was the sequel was the direct-to-DVD sequel was 3 episodes for like a pilot for the show.
I see.
Yeah, and like it was all badly stitched together when they realized
Into
it's
a
not going to take
quote-unquote
off.
It's like Clone Wars. It's Clone Wars again.
I do
It's
remember
Clone
seeing a
Wars again.
sequel, and I remember seeing the. Okay, that's actually what happened. I saw the sequel. I saw the animation wasn't as good, and I said pass. I was like 14.
Yeah.
I was like 14 or something like that when that came out. So I was like, I didn't, I didn't have time for that.
That's a lot of direct to sequel animated movies at that time. which
Oh
is
yeah,
like,
like, I grew up with like Prince of Thieves and all that shit, where it was just like, oh, that was kind of just more
like
of a.
like Secret of the Nim too. Like
Oh, no, that's just terrible. That actually ruined that one. Actually, I actually started with that. I watched that one first.
See, I never seen a
You watched
Don
that
Bluth
one
movie
first?
before, and I know for a fact everybody fucking hates Secret of Nim.
It really is that fucking bad because Secret of Nim is a fantastic movie.
That's amazing.
sequel.
No.
Well,
I actually read the book, and it's nothing like it. The book is very different, but it's still a great movie.
I've
Yeah,
heard.
like shit like Forrest Gump. That's fucking entirely different from the actual movie, but it's still damn good.
Yeah,
Jurassic
I mean,
Park's
these
very
make- at
different.
least make it
They had
good.
like in Jurassic Park, the book had like incredible, like it had like super nihilist views about families.
Yeah, I
And
hear.
the movie was like, oh, family's good. That's what we discovered.
Yeah. It's like even though these things go against the author's like main intent, they can still be good in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Like
mentioned-
if you make it your own, then sure.
Yeah.
But like,
Well,
as
just
long
a
as
little
as long as
expansive
it's,
territory.
I think like to an extent, it all really depends on. It really depends on how much leeway you want to give it.
Yeah.
If what the author intention, if what the original tried to do is, let me give you an example. Like Saving Mr. Banks was a good example of showing the the original artist versus somebody who wanted to turn the vision into something completely different. If you're those of you who know the actual story about the whole Mary Poppins scandal, it paints Disney in a very, very negative light. To say the least.
I mean, it's not hard to paint Disney in a negative light.
I mean, like negative, not negative, like
not like how they
more
are now.
negative than usual, basically. Because if you know like the story, you know that Disney was a really good animator, a really good director, and even the person who let me put it this way, in the movie they try to play it off by having like her, give a small cry during the Mr. Banks walk scene, which is a really good scene.
Yeah.
The movie is really brilliant, but like she gives off a solid cry, and Disney's like, it's okay. Mr. Banks is gonna be okay, and he says that to the original like author of the books, right? And
Mhm.
it's supposed to show like, oh yeah, she finally sees how good the movie is and realizes that maybe everything can be okay. What actually happened, reality of it is, not only did they intentionally not make sure she didn't get any like access to the premiere of the thing, when she saw what they did to her original story, she ran out of the building crying.
Wow.
Yeah, it basically. Now, to be fair, she admitted many years later that she the movie on its own, while not being a good adaptation of her story, she admits it's a good movie. It was a good movie. She's not going to sit here and say. She's not going to sit there and say that it
Just wasn't
was.
happy.
It just wasn't. It just wasn't her story.
Like it was her baby, and like they didn't give it the
Like that,
kind of
yeah.
shit she wanted.
Yeah.
And I can't
Something
understand
no
why you get
storyteller
very
would
emotional.
like to happen.
You have
Yeah,
the big
like-
name Disney giving it the biggest shot, and it's nothing like what you expected. That's gotta hurt.
To be fair, this was Disney back in its infancy, relative infancy. It wasn't like this big gigantic corporation where you're expecting something this to happen. They were still kind of small, kind of humble. It was back when Disney was still trying to find its step. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's a very grayish morality thing, but still, it was still a really shitty thing to do on Disney's end back then. Even back then, that was it showed that Disney he was kind of a ruthless businessman. He was a good guy, and he had good, and overall, he was a good director and had good intentions at the end of the day. But he was a ruthless motherfucker. He didn't pull any punches. It's a very gray area, to say the least.
Probably, yeah, definitely. Oh, Moise, I think it's time for me to head off. It's
getting late, so I think. Thanks all you guys for coming out for this little stream. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys on Twitter and stuff.
Later, guys.
All right.
All right. Later, guys.
Later.
See ya.